lawsuit is pretty interesting. The court papers were filed in a 2013 lawsuit brought by a man who was injured at the 6th floor studio when he smashed his leg through a window while doing a handstand. Spencer Wolf, a documentary filmmaker and novelist, ripped open his left leg and foot after he lost his balance in a crowded class. The dramatic fall sent shards of glass flying into the street and smeared blood across the floor. By that time, the beautiful yoga guru and Alec Baldwin had been married 2 years, and Hillary L. Hayward Thomas was publicly proclaiming to be Ilaria. A former student told the Post she almost always taught her classes in a European accent.
How you say phony baloney?
So the guy can't talk because he signed an NDA, but his friend who practiced there for a long time told the Post.
See, you know how that works. Let me explain to people who've never been reporters how this works. So you call up, oh, are you the guy who sued? Yeah, I've got a non-disclosure agreement. Oh, damn, we'd really love to put the knock on her in the Sunday paper. Oh, I can't talk, but listen, I got this friend of mine. He's been involved in a lot of this crap too, because I visit him sometimes in the town on Long Island where they hang out, so we can tell you everything. So somehow the Post discovered the name of this guy's best friend.
Or maybe the guy the guy who had the shards of glass in his leg just said, hey, I can't talk. I have an NDA, but hold on. I'm going to put my friend on the phone.
Right.
Hey,
right.
It's me. I can talk about it. My name is Spensaria Wolf. His friend who introduced Wolf to Yoga Vita and practiced there for years told the Post what stood out to him were the Baldwin's lack of empathy for Wolf. Part of the lawsuit turned on the fact that New York City requires yoga studios to have breakaway glass, but her yoga studio did not. And it also says he asked the Baldwins to help with his medical bills because he had little or no health insurance, and they refused. In addition, Alec Baldwin told Wolf he was making his wife look bad.
First things first, this guy almost gets his leg chopped off.
Yeah, but you're making Ilaria look bad.
But it gets worse because, see, he wins the case and signs the NDA. And so his friend and his wife moved to Long Island in the Hamptons, I guess, where the Baldwins also live. So this guy who's still limping around because of the accident, he goes out and he visits his friends out on the Amagansett area where the Baldwins reside. And the friend said that when the plaintiff, the guy who had his leg slashed, they desperately try to avoid the power couple. It's a small place, said the friend, and Alec is out and about a lot. We always hide. Who knows what he could do? So one day, though, they were sitting down at a restaurant, the husband and the wife and the friend who sued Hilaria. Hillary spotted Wolf and made a beeline for him. You want to read the last paragraph, the last couple of paragraphs there, Grace?
Ilaria recognized him and proceeded to rant about how he traumatized her. Spencer said, but I was the one who was hurt. I'm the one with the leg that still hurts. She went on, but yes, you traumatized me. I'm sorry, I'm not doing her justice. But yes, you traumatized me. The experience was so terrible.
I wanted to hit you with, how you say, cucumber.
I have to say, have we gotten word yet? I think Saturday Night Live had a live episode this past weekend, right? Did they do anything on this?
I'm going to go out on a limb and say crickets.
It really is so funny, though, because it's not, I mean, this lady obviously has mental problems.
We have very few ingredients. We have tomatoes. We have, how do you say, cucumbers. We have red pepper.
There are so many stories coming out about this. I mean, I guess she said her vows. Instead of saying, yes, do you take this man? She said, see.
Well, that's because she's bilingual. You know, Grace, you may not know this, but over in Spain, they got a different word for everything. Like rojo.
Yeah.
Means red.
It's wild.
Beer. Cerveza. Did you know that? It's
crazy. But Howie, if I was on your show and I was telling people, something about my heritage that was not true, how do you think I'd get away with it for 10 years? Or do you think maybe some internet sleuths would have figured it out a little bit faster for Grace Curley rather than Hilaria Baldwin.
What I don't get is she's in the same situation as you and me, Grace. She went to high school in Massachusetts. I mean, people would be ratting you and me out from our high school classes if we tried this kind of crap, right?
It's really, really bizarre. And I mean, she obviously, I said this before, but she obviously has mental issues. There's something really up with that.
She went to high school in Weston. She went to a private high school in Weston.
The thing that cracks me up the most is Alec Baldwin, because he is insufferable. He is so obnoxious. And all he does is make fun of Donald Trump. And I'm sure he's made fun of Melania. And guess what? Melania has a real accent. She doesn't have to fake her accent. It's really unbelievable. And, it would take a heart of stone not to laugh, Howie. Before I go, Grace's News is brought to you by HelloFresh's New Year sale. Get simple recipes and fresh pre-portioned ingredients, maybe there'll even be some cucumbers, delivered to your door, contact-free. Right now, get 10 free meals, including free shipping, during HelloFresh's New Year sale with code Howie10 at HelloFresh.com. That's code Howie10 at HelloFresh.com.
Grace, I think we should close out Grace's News today with a prayer for Hillary. And, I'm not a man of the cloth, so I'm going to turn it over to Congressman Emanuel Cleaver from Missouri, and he's going to end his prayer that he delivered yesterday to the opening of the first House session of the new year. Cut 21.
We ask it in the name of the monotheistic God, Brahma, and God known by many names, by many different faiths. A man and a woman.
A woman named Hilaria, indeed.
A man and a woman. He made that up. And by Brahma, the monotheistic God, Brahma. Is that how Brahma introduces himself? I'm a monotheistic God as opposed to a polytheistic.
Shouldn't we be calling him Womanuel Cleaver?
Very true.
You're right. Or personal personnel Cleaver. Yeah. And Cleaver, that's a very violent name when you think about it. I know it's the name of the Beaver and Ward and Wally and all that, but it's also that's a very violent name. I'm getting triggered by that name. It's like being named Machete. All right. Okay. Grace, thank you very much. And you did a great job. Can people use the text line, my text line, is my text line now your text line as well?
Yes, Howie. Thank you for pointing that out. People can still text in 63566. Still start it with word Howie. And by the way, Howie, before I go, I do have to pump your tires a little bit. I noticed at the Boston Herald this weekend, they did a top 20 stories of 2020. And I think you were like 6 of them. You had about 6 stories in there, so everyone should check that out.
Yeah, that was good. 774 says, who does this Mrs. Baldwin think she is, Elizabeth Warren? There's more than just Elizabeth Warren out there, too. There's new ones every day, it seems like. All right, thank you, Grace, and good job, and we look forward to hearing your show again tomorrow at noon. And you'll be picking up more affiliates as we go along, too, with any luck, knock on wood. My friends at Eden Pure have done it again. Starting today, you can get the Thunderstorm air purifier. I'm holding it up in my hand right now on the social media at the lowest price offered to my listeners. With code word Howie, the Thunderstorm is available for under $90 and shipping is free. This New Year's sale is for 1 week only and while supplies last. The Thunderstorm is a small device you can hold in your hand and plug into the wall to purify the air from any odor. This could be pet odors, kitchen smells, tobacco, or that damp smell lingering in your cellar. No filters are needed, and comparable units can start at $600. I've seen them in doctor's offices, and I always ask myself, why didn't they just order the Thunderstorm? The Thunderstorm doesn't take up floor space and is quiet. Take advantage of this 1 week only sale and experience for yourself what all of my listeners and viewers are raving about. Go to EdenPure.com and put in code word Howie. That's EdenPure.com, code word Howie. Shipping is free. I'm Howie Carr.
He's suave, he's debonair, he's Howie Carr.
This is going to sound immodest, but I'm obviously a top-tier candidate. I've had a lot of titles over my career, and certainly Vice President will be great, but Kamala will always be the one that means the most. They said, well, do you think Trump is responsible for what happened? And I said, well, look, I mean, obviously he didn't pull the trigger, but he's certainly been tweeting out the ammunition. And that's why do gotta go. What else do we know about this population, 18 through 24? They are stupid. That is why we put them in dormitories. You know, I'm just gonna engage in real talk. I don't
Taylor.
waste your time with anything else.
Yes,
Is Grace's show podcast, by the way?
it will be. Yes.
Starting today?
Yes.
Okay. So when can they get it, do you think?
We're working on uploading them right now. So
Okay. I just wanted to, somebody mentioned it. Okay.
You've been hearing me talk about Super Beets for a while now, and I'm sure some of you are still thinking, why Super Beets? You could take it from me. The benefits of Super Beets are incredible. I take them twice a day, once in the morning when I get up, even before I have my first cup of coffee, and the other time in the afternoon, right before the show. It gives me a burst of energy. It's great for my blood pressure. It's good for circulation. It just makes you feel better. If that doesn't convince you, we can talk about the science behind Super Beets. Beets have nitrates. Nitrates support better blood flow, and better blood flow equals better energy and efficiency throughout the body, and even supports healthy blood pressure. But Super Beets does so much more than eating regular beets and is unparalleled compared to other beet powders. Just one scoop of Super Beets has the nitric oxide equivalent of 3 whole beets. Go to superbeetsradio.com/Howie and try out Super Beets yourself. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie.
The coronavirus has made our lives unpredictable, but one thing you can always count on, the White House press corps will always ask President Trump ridiculous questions.
Question, Mr. President, should Americans have to decide between staying healthy and going back to work?
Hey, just checking on oil again today. I was wondering.
Oil?
Yeah.
Where is it today?
Well, I was wondering if you.
No, where's the price? Give me the price.
I'm not sure, to be honest.
How can you ask a question when you don't know the price?
I'll look it up for you.
Okay, let me do something else. What do you say the Americans were scared, though? I guess nearly 200 dead, 14,000 who are sick, millions, as you witnessed, who are scared right now. What do you say to Americans who are watching you right now who are scared?
Well, where did he come from, the Inspector General? What's his name?
It came from the Inspector General
what's his name?
report. I don't know his name.
Some of your allies have been bashing these doctors. Would you tell them to cut it out? Today you tweeted the invisible enemy will soon be in full retreat. Given it's invisible, without widespread testing, how would you know?
He's the undisputed king of New England talk radio.
No brag, just fact.
Howie Carr.
844-500-4242, so you can use the Howie Carr Show text line for Grace as well. Start Howie and then text Howie to 63566. Then you can communicate with Grace during her show. And we are going to post the podcasts. All of her show will be posted as podcasts. It's not posted yet today, but it'll be posted at HowieCarrShow.com. HowieCarrShow.com. 774 says Hiladia's DNA test came back and indicated she has a 1 in 1,024th chance of being related to Elizabeth Warren. Yeah, she and Elizabeth Warren have have the same amount of Hispanic blood in them. Yes, exactly. 844-500-4242. Arthur, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Arthur.
Well, let me be the first to wish you and all that's important to you and all the wonderful people a very happy New Year.
Same to you,
it's
Arthur.
50 years, Howie, that we know each other.
Yeah, so I can't tell you if I say I'm from Spain, Arthur. You're going to rat me out, aren't you?
No. One thing I learned a long time ago: don't be a rat. Well, I got bad news for you. There is absolutely no way the Republicans win tomorrow because we haven't done anything to stop the fraud.
I hope that they'll be able to pull it out. I really do. Maybe I'm just being too confident, Arthur. But I mean, obviously the market thinks they're going to lose because that's why the market's way down today, and that's why it's a bad sign. And if they get the power, I mean, Bernie Sanders could be a committee chairman. Think about that, Bernie Sanders. Is that good? If you work for a living, is it good news that Bernie Sanders will have a lot of power? And they keep saying, "Oh, Joe Biden is a centrist." Joe Biden doesn't know what century he's in. Joe Biden is a figurehead, a feeble figurehead. He's the most feeble president that's ever going to have been elected. 844-500-4242. We got time for Michael. Michael, go ahead quickly, Michael.
Hi there. I guess the last caller kind of hit on what I had to say, but I wondered, I'll just throw this out. Why wouldn't the Democrats, the crooked Democrats, who went as far as they did to manipulate and to cheat and got through it, not follow through tomorrow? Why would you expect Republicans to win? There shouldn't be any fraud tomorrow?
I'm just hoping it's going to be more difficult for them to, that there are going to be more people on the ground. But, someone called Rush's show, a texter told me this and said that they voted early in Georgia and it was the same BS going on, keeping the Republican poll watchers away. I'm Howie Carr. If you don't want to replace your carpets due to pet stains and odors, you must try Genesis 950. Genesis 950 was my go-to product for Mr. Gooner. The reviews are amazing as this is one product that actually works. With water, it breaks down the bonds of stains so they are gone for good. Its antibacterial component removes pet owners from carpet and padding. Genesis 950 can be used in a carpet cleaning machine. Genesis 950 is made in America. It is a concentrate, so 1 gallon makes up to 7 gallons of cleaner. But
the number down. God did not do that. Fate did not do that. Destiny did not do that. We're not going to make America great again. It was never that great. Because I can also see you're in masterful shape, buff even. It has a very nice floral bouquet. Little I detect lilac, hydrangea, tulips. What does it smell like to you? Tulips, yes. Floral bouquet. Because if that's who they are, and if they are the extreme conservatives, they have no place in the state of New York.
I tested positive. Let's use this example of me having it as proof that you can get it too. God forbid, the rest of us should be staying at home for our mothers and the people that we love and to keep us farther
sectors, restaurants, wineries, tasting rooms. A few weeks ago, I was asked to go to a friend's 50th birthday. I made a bad mistake. Instead of sitting down, I should have stood up.
Stay at home as much as possible. Put those social gatherings on hold, including extra care for Thanksgiving.
Denver's mayor told you to stay home for Thanksgiving, then he got on a flight to go see family out of state.
Some people calling Supervisor Kuehl a hypocrite. Now, on November 24th, she voted to ban outdoor dining, and on the very same day, she was spotted eating out.
I take responsibility for trusting the word of the neighborhood salon that I've been to over the years. As it turns out, it was a setup. So I take responsibility for falling for a setup. This salon owes me an apology. What they do.
This is Charlie Baker.
Hey everybody, Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker here.
And these are his friends.
I can't tell you how many times in the past couple of months, somebody I know has told me a story.
In the world of Charlie Baker and his friends, the real world of panic porn, political leaders cannot survive without absolute power. And the public can't be expected to blindly follow orders without first hearing a made-up story.
Somebody I know has told me a story about how they got it, and it all goes back every single time to some informal gathering where nobody wore masks, nobody kept their distance, and the virus spread.
It's a confusing, nonsensical, follow-the-science world. But it's the only world they know.
I mean, it's pretty common at this point that that's where a big piece of this is coming from.
And they're the only friends Charlie Baker has.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
Here's 1 minute of CNN's Don Lemon.
What do you say to those Trump voters who prioritize the economy over the president's bigotry?
I have a big announcement, and it's somewhere on my body.
Because the biggest purveyor of fake news is the president in this country, because he does it a lot. I'm just going to speak from the heart here. What we have witnessed was a total eclipse of the fact.
If you thought I went hard in 2019, watch 2020, baby. There's more to come. I'm a soldier. I'm ready to fight.
Talking about the cost of this parade and where there would be tanks, right? And would there be nuclear weapons? Americans, are you mad as hell? I wouldn't normally address this. As a journalist, I don't really like being the story here. Kanye West, entitled to his own opinion, but is not very bright and not very, when it comes to talking about this issue, not overall. So we have to stop demonizing people and realize the biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized right up to the right.
Hair loss is not one of life's more enjoyable experiences. If you're looking to fill in your hairline or reverse years of hair loss, DiStefano Hair Restoration will create a result that will be a transformative experience. The result of my IGT procedure was quite remarkable. I now have fuller, thicker hair, so I can even wear it a bit longer. There are a few major decisions I've made in my life that I wish I did sooner. My hair restoration is number one. It was by far one of the best moves I've ever made. My hair looks awesome, and the confidence from having a full head of hair again has left me feeling great. I used to look in the mirror and dreaded seeing my ever-increasing bald spot. Now when I look in the mirror, I see the new me with a full head of thick hair. For information on how to make the same choice I did, go to hairman.com/Howie. What are you waiting for? More hair to fall out? Get the hair you've always wanted. hairman.com/Howie. And now, a minute of wisdom from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Millennials and people and Gen Z and all these folks that come after us are looking up, and we're like, the world is going to end in 12 years if we don't address climate change. And your biggest issue is how are we going to pay for it? And this is the war. This is our World War II.
I think that there's a lot of people more concerned about being precisely, factually, and semantically correct than
Better strap yourself in. It's time for the Howie Carr Show.
We believe that we do have an accurate election.
No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't have. Not even close. You're off by hundreds of thousands of votes. And just on the small numbers, you're off on these numbers.
Don't you just hate wrong numbers?
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
President Trump is the arsonist here. You've started this fire, and now you're saying, whoa, look at this. Oh, my God. All these people believe what we told them.
This fire was started when you completely ignored, for example, our investigation of Hunter Biden. No evidence of wrongdoing there, and now we find out after the election, no, there is a fair amount of evidence to the point that we have a real FBI investigation.
Senator,
so
unchained and unstoppable.
Again, I don't drink, but I'm happy to have ice cream with anybody anytime.
Rump swabs, hacks, and moonbats beware. It's Howie Carr.
That was Senator Ron Johnson talking about how they ignored the mainstream media and social media suppressed the Hunter Biden laptop story. But he could have gone back further than that. He could have gone back all the way to the Russian collusion hoax. I mean, the same people who are now accusing the Republicans and the president of being a sedition caucus, plotting this disgraceful effort, traitorous. These are words of Jake Tapper. These are the same people who were promoting the Russian collusion hoax. Were there 1,000 affidavits in the Russian collusion hoax? No, it was all made up by one guy who was on the payroll twice removed for purposes of plausible deniability on the Hillary Clinton payroll. The Trump people have 1,000 sworn affidavits signed under pains and penalties of perjury about the election results being twisted around, and they have the audacity to get angry about Republicans trying to right a wrong here. Again, this is the ultimate projection of the last 5 years, 6 years, I guess, 5.5 years. The Democrats are accusing the Republicans of making up a conspiracy. I mean, think about that. Think about that. 844-500-4242, and then to portray this phone call as David Perdue, the Republican senator who's running against the pajama boy Ossoff, he said it very well today. He said that there's nothing on this phone call that President Trump hasn't been saying for 2 months about what happened in Georgia. And here's some stuff that the mainstream media is not talking about, and that's how Trump dressed down this Secretary of State, Raffensperger, who really makes Charlie Parker of Massachusetts or Larry Hogan Parker of Maryland look like stalwart Republican activists. He's so pathetic, and the mainstream media, though, isn't going to report what Trump said about it. I've got the quotes here. They're in Powerline blog. They transcribed them. This is what Trump said on the phone call to the Secretary of State in Georgia, a buffoon. Look, Stacey, meaning Stacey Abrams, in my opinion, Stacey is as dishonest as they come. She's outplayed you at everything. She got you to sign a totally unconstitutional agreement, which is a disastrous agreement. This is Trump talking to the Secretary of State in Georgia. You can't check signatures. That agreement is a disaster for this country, but she got you somehow to sign that thing, and she has outsmarted you at every step. And Stacey Abrams is laughing at you. She's going around saying those guys are dumber than a rock. What she's done to this party is unbelievable. And they're going around playing you and laughing at you behind your back, Brad. Whether you know it or not, they're laughing at you. And you've taken a state that's a Republican state and you've made it almost impossible for a Republican to win because of cheating. Oddly, the New York Times did not, and the Washington Post did not mention that in their front page end of the world style headlines this morning. 844-500-4242. That is that's the toll-free number. Here's the actual some of the stuff he said. This is the quote that's being misrepresented. Cut 33.
I'm notifying you that you're letting it happen. So Look, all I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have, because we won the state, and flipping the state is a great testament to our country, because, you know, there's just, it's a testament that they can admit to a mistake, or whatever you want to call it, if it was a mistake. I don't know. A lot of people think it wasn't a mistake. It was much more criminal than that. But it's a big problem in Georgia, and it's not a problem that's going away. I mean, you know, it's not a problem that's going away.
What this was a settlement call, because Trump sued, and the campaign sued the state of Georgia, and specifically the Secretary of State who supervises the election, a month ago. Now, they still haven't assigned a judge to the case. They're just trying to run out the clock here after all these quote unquote irregularities. And so this was a settlement talk. That's why there were all these lawyers on the call. You know, volunteer lawyers, lawyers on the payroll, the Secretary of State of the United States, Mike Pompeo, the chief of staff, the former congressman. And then they leaked it like this was somehow a recorded meeting of a mob capo shaking down an innocent man. Good Lord. Someone says Georgia's Secretary of State just accused Trump of leaking the call. That's about as believable as everything else he's been saying. You know, the one of the more interesting things here, and I certainly hope that Perdue and Loeffler prevail tomorrow in Georgia. But I'm going to be very interested in tonight. The most interesting thing to me is going to be what Trump says about this Raffensperger, this Secretary of State. I mean, this is like these people are. What is it? What's the end game? I mean, I always say, what's the end game for the Democrats? You know, with open borders, destroying the economy. You know, the cancel culture. What society do they want to emerge on the wreckage of the most successful society in human history? And again, I ask on a smaller scale, what do these Republicans who are selling out the incumbent president of the United States, who's restored the Republican Party to some kind of relevance with huge portions of the electorate, and not just the white working class, to-wit deplorables, rednecks, irredeemables, whatever you want to call them, but we've got a higher share of the black and Hispanic votes than any Republican candidate in 60 years. You think that's because the policies were racist, or because the economic policies were working, that it was good to close the borders down somewhat, that it was good to try to reduce refugees, quote unquote, from coming into the country? There have been fewer terror attacks in the last 4 years than there were in the Obama years. Have there not been? Do you think the country's in better shape or worse shape than it was 4 years ago this time? And yet somehow we lost the election. The Republicans stayed steady in the Senate. They picked up House seats. They took over assorted legislatures at the state level that they hadn't had before previously. I don't know. 844-500-4242. Let's play cut 32. This is again Trump just haranguing Raffensperger, as well he should. Cut 32.
I couldn't care less. Social media is big tech. Big tech is on your side. You know, I don't even know why you have a side, because you should want to have an accurate election. And you're a Republican.
We believe that we do have an accurate election.
No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't have. Not even close. You're off by hundreds of thousands of votes, and just on the small numbers, you're off on these numbers.
That's when he reads down the laundry list of the various places where the votes were tampered with. How about that? It came out over when I was gone that some of the people who were counting the votes said that after the Democrats got through with him, 93% of the military votes came back for Joe Biden. 93%. And they got a lot of military bases in Georgia going back to the days of Senator Richard Russell, the segregationist senator, good buddy of Lyndon Johnson and Ted Kennedy. 844-500-4242. Sticking to your New Year's resolution is a matter of making one right decision at a time. Before I had my operation, I always used to try to lose weight and eat more healthy every New Year's. And I don't have to worry about losing weight now, but it's still a good idea to try to ingest more healthy products into your body. If you're looking to institute some healthy habits and improve your lifestyle in 2021, you need to check out Super Beets Heart Chews. These are great. I take all of my Super Beets chews take them two a day. Take one in the morning before I have my first cup of coffee, and then I take one right before the show starts. It's great. Gives me a boost of energy, and it makes me feel better. Just 2 Super Beets Heart Chews per day give you the cardiovascular support to promote the heart-healthy energy you need to chase your goals. Super Beets Heart Chews combines the non-GMO beets and clinically researched grapeseed extract, shown to be twice as effective at supporting normal blood pressure than a healthy lifestyle alone. When it comes to implementing healthy habits this year, adding Super Beets Heart Chews to your daily routine is an easy decision to make. And you don't have to mix them up or anything. Just pop them in your mouth. They're in foil. They're great, and they taste good too. What's to lose? You've got nothing to lose, everything to gain. And now you can get a free 30-day supply of Super Beets Heart Chews, plus a free 30-day supply of their new delicious flavor, Super Grapes, with your first purchase by going to superbeetsradio.com/Howie. That's 2 free gifts valued at over $50. Only available at superbeetsradio.com/Howie. That's superbeetsradio.com/Howie. I'm Howie Carr.
Howie Carr. You can trust him. He's not like the others.
What impact do you think Russian interference had in the election?
I think it was one of the major contributors to the outcome.
Years from the 2016 election, and Hillary Clinton still can't accept the results. Take a listen.
You know, you can run the best campaign. You can be the person who gets the nomination. You could lose. I believe he knows he's an illegitimate president. He knows.
The one thing that Trump is fearful of when it comes to his being president is that finally we will see how illegitimate his victory actually was.
This wasn't on the level.
Flashing videos that appear and then disappear, and they're on the dark web and nobody can find them.
It's like applying for a job and getting 66 million letters of recommendation and losing to a corrupt human tornado.
So maybe there does need to be a rematch. I mean, obviously, I can beat him again.
So of course he's obsessed with me.
Here's how it works with my retirement accounts, and I'll bet yours too. If your 401k, your SEP, your IRA, whatever is going up, you probably don't think very much about it, right? But if it's going down, well, there's nothing much else you can think of. So for the last couple of years, none of us have been worrying much about those quarterly statements. But lately, it's gotten a little worrisome. It's not that bad, not yet anyway, but what goes up must come down. Now is the time to start thinking about adjusting your investments. Gold and silver have always been a hedge against stock market volatility. Uncertainty about the future has traditionally meant rising prices for precious metals. Orion Metal Exchange is the only precious metals company I trust. Give Orion a call to get a free, no-obligation investment guide about protecting your future with an enduring investment in gold and silver. You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain, including peace of mind, by calling Orion Metal Exchange now. Call them today at 800-912-2300. And with Orion, you'll get more metal for your money. Call 800-912-2300. That's 800-912-2300.
Joe Biden accuses Trump of being a racist, but if you listen to Biden's comments, you would agree that he doth protest too much.
If you take a test where you're taking cocaine or not, what do you think, huh? Are you a junkie?
He's the first mainstream African American who is articulate and bright and clean.
And Madam President, we have predators on our streets.
That kid wearing a hoodie may very well be the next poet laureate and not a gangbanger.
They are beyond the pale, many of those people.
God love you. You've been here all day. My Lord, you may feel like you're being incarcerated.
We have no choice but to take them out of society.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
I think the two-party system is good for the South and good for the Negro.
They're going to put you all back in chains. Unlike the African American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community with incredibly different attitudes about different things.
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump and you ain't black,
I've heard about you. What have you heard, Shane? I've heard that you're a low-down Yankee liar.
Howie Carr is back.
844-500-4242. New year, new hobbies, and everything is better with Raycon wireless earbuds. With up to 6 hours of playtime, water and sweat-resistant construction, and seamless Bluetooth pairing, you could take Raycon's premium audio anywhere you go. Right now, get 15% off at buyraycon.com/Howie. That's buyraycon.com/Howie. Taylor, what's the poll question? What are the results thus far?
How many Senate seats will the Republicans win in the Georgia runoffs tomorrow? 0, 1, or 2?
I've got the PMA, positive mental attitude. I'm going to say 2.
Yeah, 57% say they'll win both seats, 27% say they won't win any, and 16% say it'll be a split vote.
Yeah. 860 says Trump is setting them up. I hope he's setting them up. I'm not nearly as confident about what's going to happen on Wednesday. This whole thing about this election commission that they want to set up. I mean, that's what can they do in 10 days? They want to look over all the results, and the Democrats are saying, well, this is just nonsense because the courts are throwing them out. The reason the courts are throwing these suits out is because the courts are corrupt. How long have I been telling you this about the courts in in Massachusetts specifically? You know what I always say, it's that 98% of the judges that give such a bad name to the 2% that are honest and decent. I'm changing that now, though. It's that 99% of judges that give such a bad name. And this isn't just about the election. This is also about all these panic requirements, like the Supreme Judicial Court in Massachusetts just allowing these draconian, capricious lockdowns to continue forever. 844-500-4242. Just looking at the stories here. California is closing the door to gas in new homes. The Scientific American. California's top energy bosses soon will decide when to snuff out natural gas flames in new homes. Natural gas. Meanwhile, in Massachusetts, the governor just announced that he's going to spend $4 million to set up more electric vehicle fueling stations, because that's going to do something about greenhouse gases. Think about this, though. I always have said in the past that an electric car, a Prius at Tesla, is a coal-fired vehicle. Somebody called and said, well, they've shut down a lot of the coal-fired plants. A lot of it's natural gas now. But it's natural gas, very clean, but it's still a fossil fuel. So how does switching over to an electric car, if it's fueled by natural gas, which California is now going to try to phase out, even though it's the cleanest gas available, and what are they going to use to replace it with? Solar and wind haven't really worked out. They work out to a degree, but there's these things. I think we should follow the science, and the science says if a cloud goes over the sun, it's probably going to affect the output of solar power for that day. Again, I'm following the science. If the wind dies down, there will be less wind energy generated. Would someone care to contradict me? 844-500-4242. So the Rhino Republicans are ripping the president and the Republicans to shreds for trying to still fight this thing at the last ditch. And we'll play some of the Baker cuts as we go on, but it's just you can imagine Baker. But here's another one: Paul Ryan. Remember the former House Speaker Mitt Romney's running mate in 2012? He's now the retired House Speaker. He was as worthless as you-know-what's on a bull when he was the House Speaker. And he is now making at least part of his income as a member of the board of directors of the Fox Corporation, Fox News Channel Corporation. And so he's ripping Trump, and he's basically telling the GOP to stop trying to interfere with Joe Biden. Mother Jones magazine, another magazine that good luck finding it as a magazine, left-wing rag. It said that one of the top 10 lunatics of 2020 is Tara Reid. She's the one who credibly accused her former boss, Joe Biden, of raping her when she was an aide in the 1990s. If she's one of the top 10 lunatics of 2020, why won't the Joe Biden transition team or his campaign staff or his former Senate staff or anybody, why won't the University of Delaware, which has all of his personal papers from his Senate years, release those documents so we can see if Tara Reid, as one of the top 10 lunatics of 2020, actually filed a sexual assault complaint against her boss, Senator Joe Biden? Huh? How come? I guess maybe she's not as much of a lunatic as they say she is. They're also we're going to take some calls after the break. 844-500-4242. There are all these puff pieces being written about Joe Biden. You've seen them. You've avoided them. One of them is saying Joe Biden, he may be the new FDR. Really? He's going to bring back the Great Depression? He's going to appoint a Ku Klux Klansman to the U.S. Supreme Court? World War II? Internment of Japanese? Really? Nuclear bomb being dropped, or an atomic bomb being dropped on people of color? I guess that was Harry Truman actually dropped the bomb, but it was developed in FDR's administration.
Severely debilitating disease?
Good Lord. Joe Biden remembers FDR going on TV when the Great Depression struck. He was governor of New York and there was no TV, but Joe Biden remembers it like it was yesterday. I'm Howie Carr.
Congratulations, New England. You did it. You made it through 2 months of torturous, nonstop, ear-jarring, teeth-clenching, blood pressure-raising radio noise. Those nerve-grating Matthews carols are now just a distant memory, echoing through the canyons of your mind with no sugary aftertaste. But it's a whole new year, and we've come up with whole new ways to annoy you. For example, remember those Matthews carols you thought were just a distant memory?
Hey, Howie? Howie?
Wicked awesome website, MatthewsBrothers.com. But they're not the only videos we have out there. We also have videos on such useful topics as understanding condensation, how to properly install one of our windows, and even a video on how to get the sash back into the frame once you've accidentally removed it and there's a storm coming and the factory is closed and your wife is yelling at you to fix it now. We even got one of those. You can learn more about our wicked awesome windows and doors, but only at Better Lumber Yards and Window Professionals, or on the web at MatthewsBrothers.com. Matthews Brothers with one T. America's oldest window manufacturer.
Whether it's global warming, global cooling, or climate change, one thing's for certain, the progressive moonbats can't stop talking about it.
We're talking about cities all over the world, major cities going underwater.
You know, I've spent a lot of time now with these young students, and they're scared. And a lot of young people are even suffering from, they're calling it extinction illness.
So that we can have people here who truly are committed to climate change, believe in climate change.
www.superbeatsradio.com/Howie.
He's the gaff that keeps on giving. Here's 1 minute of former Vice President Joe Biden.
You teachers who touch them, figuratively speaking, well, I hope you touch them and tell them how much you love them too. But my point is, when you touch their hearts, I get in trouble some things I say, but I want to tell you, just be straight up. If I'm your president, with me, it starts here in my gut, goes to my heart, and then I articulate it. And by the way, I sit on the stand and it get hot. I got hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. 1.2 billion. So you go ahead and you stack spaghetti sauce at a store in a supermarket. You control the guy or the woman who brings out the carts on a forklift. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap, and I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
And now, another minute of Madam Speaker, Nancy Pelosi.
But again, two of these wings, AOC and her group on one side.
That's like 5 people. They would say, play games, and then they'd say, open sesame. Except we don't say sesame, we say open Biden. But no, I because we are not. We have the number is growing. We have 91 women. There are 115 women in Congress, 116. 15 are Republican, 91 are Democrats. I happen to be a manifestation of the women power that is coming forth now, but only one manifestation.
Hey, Howie?
Yes.
Did you get a morning minute to record?
No, I didn't.
All right, I'll write one up for you.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Don't be sorry. It had nothing to do with you.
I'd forgotten about it.
Was to put ourselves in those categories, but the times have found us.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
844-500-4242. We're going to take some calls here in this segment. But we have to also talk about the coronavirus, the panic, and the usual BS is going on. I mentioned in the first hour that, even down here in Florida, I get assaulted on New Year's Eve, like everybody did that has a cell phone, I guess, with a Massachusetts area code. And they're giving me instructions like I'm back in high school in Franklin County. Don't go out, Howard. Don't go down. Meet your hoodlum friends from Greenfield, Turner's Falls. You better stay home. Well, instead of my parents, it's Charlie Parker.
This is an important message from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Attention. Over half of Massachusetts towns are high risk for COVID-19. Resolve not to be a super spreader this New Year's Eve. Don't go out and party. Stay home.
Oh, Mom, can't I have the car keys?
But did you get their little joke, their little pun? Resolve not to be a super spreader?
Yeah, I got it.
Because we're all making New Year's resolutions. Isn't it funny when they put public health and humor together?
God, that reminds me of Muriel Bowser, I think her name is, the mayor of Washington, D.C. She's the one who put the city in a lockdown, and then she went to Joe Biden's victory celebration in Delaware, violated her own laws. But hey, that was important. Now she's concerned about riots. She says everybody should stay home the next couple of days because these evil Trump people are going to be in town. She didn't care about the looting and the burning and the vandalism and the people being assaulted on the streets during the riots in the spring. But now she's concerned about the protests on Wednesday. Good Lord. 844-500-4242. So the New York Times over the break, they had a story, and I didn't read the New York Times, so I read about the New York Post. They have a restaurant columnist, like a lot of papers do. Hungry City columnist Lagaya Misham this week filled a soulful Sweet and sad ode to the lost experience of dining, restaurant going in the Big Apple. Here's the headline. It's a sad headline, nostalgic, wistful, you might say. Before they closed, restaurants opened doors for us. For now, that life is gone, she mourns. Really? Of course, this is the same New York Times that promoted shutting down all the restaurants. A panic-mongering April 20th article related how the virus supposedly spread inside a restaurant in Guangzhou, China. Diagrams showed how a faulty air conditioner blew the bug into diners' faces. The story about a single eatery worlds removed from conditions and rules in New York took lie-laden Chinese research at face value. Yet shutdown advocates continue to cite its purely circumstantial assumption as evidence of indoor dining's peril, despite the fact that it's less than 1% of the cases can be tracked to indoor dining as opposed to 74% at homes. Another Times News article, quote unquote, on the August 12th headline, "The nation wanted to eat out again. Everyone has paid the price." August 28th, another piece showed 117 cases linked, as the columnist says, journalism's most suspect word, linked to a single St. Cloud, Minnesota restaurant. It's actually a big bar room. But here was the real one. A little over a month before they wrote the sad story about the restaurants going out of business in New York City, before, again, I'll refresh your memory. Before they closed, restaurants opened doors for us. Okay, that was last week. On November 11th, the lead editorial in the New York Times was headlined, "Indoor dining at city restaurants should end." Really? And now they're set. Now it is ended. The idiotic leaders of New York State and New York City took their advice, and now they're sad. The restaurants are gone. But wait, there's more from New York State. You know, everything Broadway is shut down. They're not playing any, they're not having any spectators at any athletic events, all this. But guess what happened this year? For the first time in years, a New York team, NFL team, made the playoffs. So guess what? The governor of New York has suddenly decided, he's followed the science, he's followed the data, and after saying it was dangerous to have any fans in the stands, they're going to let 6,700 fans attend the first Buffalo Bills home playoff game in 25 years. Wow, what a lucky break, huh? Whether or not they make it to the Super Bowl, the Buffalo Bills have already pulled off a miracle, says the Wall Street Journal, persuading Governor Cuomo to let 6,700 fans attend their playoff games. Mr. Cuomo has kept Bills fans locked out of the stadium all season, although 13 other NFL stadiums have allowed limited numbers to attend games, not Foxborough, obviously. There has been, you know how many people have tested positive after attending a NFL game? There were 256 games this year. You know how many people have tested positive from those 256 games? One. Yet in November, Mr. Cuomo proclaimed it would be reckless to let any fans into a stadium in Buffalo that could seat nearly 72,000 people. And then the Wall Street Journal closes that for months, Mr. Cuomo has needlessly shut down businesses despite precautions to operate safely. But we're glad he may be finally seeing the light now, even if it took a football game. This is all pandemic theater or panic theater, as this is just the latest example. Or the New York Times weeping crocodile tears for the restaurants that it wanted to be closed. How crazy is that? And they get away with it. 603 says, wonder if they've tried text messages for birth control, drugs, and alcohol. Yeah, I can think of a few other things they could, send out text messages for. But that would be politically incorrect, wouldn't it? Steve from Springfield, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Steve.
Hi, Howie. How you doing?
Good.
Yeah, I got kind of fed up today, so I called like 5 senators. I called Rand Paul. I called Lindsey Graham. He's on the fence. Tom Cotton, Marco Rubio, and I told Ron Paul to have Mitch McConnell answer his phone so that he can take a message.
You mean Rand
because
Paul?
He works for us.
Yeah.
What?
Rand Paul.
Yeah, they're both from Kentucky. Yeah.
Did you hear that someone painted something on his door because he blocked the stimulus? He said, "Where's the money?" Only the people, the Democrats couldn't spell where. They put "where's the money," WERES, no apostrophe either, no H and no apostrophe. But Tom Cotton, he wants to run for president, Steve, and he's not going to go along with the challenge. His chances for being a contender, even let alone being the nominee in 2024, are out the window as far as I'm concerned, aren't they?
Oh yeah, it's crazy, and but I'll tell you, anybody who can't see voter fraud, it's because they're blind, deaf, and dumb. I like how they're covering up the error. The error stuff on a lot of this machinery. We audited ourselves and we exonerated ourselves. Right. Yeah, really. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I know. And they just keep coming up with more and more stuff. And again, these are the same people who are telling you that this is wacky conspiracy theories that were protesting the 2016 election, that were protesting the 2004 election, that were protesting the 2000 election. But now they're saying this is unprecedented, what the Republicans are trying to do. It's not unprecedented. It's been done over and over again, and they're just rewriting history on the fly. Somebody said to me, I was talking to him over. I forget who it was, but I know it was somebody. One of my neighbors was saying that the media has always been corrupt, but at least they tried to cover it up in the past, or something. And some people were honest, and mistakes are always made in any human endeavor. But now they don't care; they just flat out lie. I mean, that whole thing with Chuck Todd, a Democrat operative who used to work for a Stolen Valor Iowa Democrat senator, whose wife made big bucks working on the Bernie Sanders campaign. This is a family of millionaire Democrat operatives, and he's accusing Ron Johnson of falsifying and making up this conspiracy when he spent 4 years, and Jake Tapper too. Jake Tapper called it, what did he call it? The sedition, the sedition caucus. Like it's somehow treason to point out that they were stealing this election. 844-500-4242, 617. How come the IRS doesn't let taxpayers audit our own tax returns for them? It works for elections, right? That's actually a pretty good point. Donald, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Donald.
Good afternoon, Howie.
Hi.
Listen, I've been listening to the last 4 years, really, to all these Republicans point out all of these horrible, horrible things, and I believe them. Actually, there's criminality and all this. And I know a little bit about prosecutions and investigations, and I've seen nobody having to pay a price for anything. If you have a conspiracy investigation, the first thing you go after is the low-hanging fruit.
Right.
The guy you know is going to roll. And you roll him into the office, and you charge him with whatever you can, and then you have a proffer. And you say to him, you're on my team or you're on their team.
Right.
Then you take 3 or 4 more, you bring them in, and this is the same speech. None of that. It hasn't been done. So I don't see how we recover if we have no vote.
Yeah, Donald, I said earlier, the reason they were having that settlement talk with Raffensperger the other day is because Trump filed the suit. Forget discovery and all that stuff. He can't even get a judge assigned to the case. I mean, what could be a more significant complaint than charging election fraud that's changed the results of a presidential election? That should get that should be on the fast track, shouldn't it?
It's central. It's central to the existence of this country. And why they hate this man so much is because he's from outside the inner circle, and they're not going after him. They're going after everybody that thinks that they can go in and do a good job. So any honest person, and most of us, Howie, who would run for any office if you weren't a liberal? Because they're going to crucify you. They've got photos of you when you were 3 years old slapping a girl.
What about the fact that the Democrats get a free ride? I mean, look at this guy in Georgia, Warnock. Can you imagine if a Republican, if they had videotape from last March of a Republican's wife saying that he had just run over her foot with his car? Do you think how far do you think that Republican would get? Donald, that's obviously a rhetorical question. You know how far he would get. He would be gone. He wouldn't have even gotten out of the gate. How about Joe Biden, the big guy? They're making a big deal out of what Trump said, just saying he wanted he wanted them to find the votes. What about Joe Biden saying we have the most extensive and inclusive voter fraud organization in American history? Oh, that's just Joe. What about Joe Biden saying, I told them if they didn't fire that prosecutor who was going after my son's company. He didn't say that part of it, but that's what it boiled down to. They wouldn't get the $1 billion in U.S. aid to the Ukraine. That's on videotape too, just like the part about the most extensive voter fraud organization in American history. But nobody says anything about that. I think they're a little more smoking guns than President Trump with all of his legal team and his aides talking to this hack from Georgia. Thanks for the call, Donald. It is very refreshing. Hit refresh on your dinner routine in 2021 with HelloFresh. We all get into patterns, and sometimes the patterns aren't even that healthy of eating. We just keep making the same thing night after night, or we cook a bunch of food on the weekends that's not too healthy, but we just know we can throw it into the microwave and subsist on it. This is your chance to make a New Year's resolution to eat better and eat tastier with HelloFresh. Right now, you can take advantage of their limited time New Year's sale and see why HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit. HelloFresh gives you simple recipes and fresh ingredients, sourced directly from growers and delivered to your door contact-free. With more than 23 weekly recipes, there's something for everyone to enjoy, including family-friendly, vegetarian, and low-calorie options. Probably you're thinking more about low-calorie options right now than other times of the year, and this is a good time to start getting some real results from your diet. Or you can go with the vegetarian or family-friendly. Say goodbye, whatever you pick, to never-ending meal planning and prepping. HelloFresh recipe cards are easy to follow with simple steps and pictures. You can put meals on the table in as little as 20 minutes. Plus, by skipping the grocery store, you could save up to 40% on groceries, cut food waste by 25%, and perhaps most important, save time so you have more time to spend with your loved one. And you don't have to wear a mask when you order HelloFresh. Go to HelloFresh.com and use code Howie10 for 10 free meals across 4 boxes, including free shipping on your first box during HelloFresh's New Year sale. For a limited time only, go to HelloFresh.com and use code Howie10 for 10 free meals. HelloFresh.com. Goodbye, masks. I'm Howie Carr.
He didn't come here to be made sport of.
Hey, Howie, can you do me a favor?
Yes.
Your microphone, just move it up so that it's level with your mouth and not down by your chin.
Okay, sure. I'm all set. Is it better?
Much better. Yep, much better. Thank you.
And, Gen Z and all these folks that come after us are looking up, and we're like, the world is going to end in 12 years if we don't address climate change. And your biggest issue is... factually and semantically correct than about being morally right.
But being factually correct is important.
It's absolutely important. And if we work our butts off to make sure that we take back all three chambers of Congress, all three chambers of government, the presidency, the Senate, and the House in 2020. We can't start working in 2020.
Now's the perfect time to get a pair of premium wireless earbuds, and Raycon is the way to go. Raycon start at about half the price of other premium brands on the market, and they sound just as amazing. And Raycon's everyday E25 earbuds are their best model yet. You get 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and a more compact design that gives you a comfortable, noise-isolating fit. Perfect for conference calls, video chats, or binging podcasts. Raycon was founded by Ray J, and celebrities like Cardi B and J.R. Smith have already given Raycons their seal of approval. I love my Raycons, and Grace loves hers, too.
Howie, I love my Raycons. Best birthday gift ever.
I listen to much better music than she does, though.
Hey, that's not true.
Now it's your turn to see what the hype is all about. Go to buyraycon.com/Howie. That's buyraycon.com/Howie. buyraycon.com/Howie.
Watch out, Joe Biden. You might have to share some of the spotlight because your running mate, Senator Kamala Harris, is certainly grabbing some attention for her own gaffes.
She was part of our culture. Yes, we wear those notorious B.I.G. t-shirts with a lot of pride.
Best rapper alive, Tupac. He's not. You say he lives on.
Not alive. I know. I keep doing that. A Harris administration together with Joe Biden as the president of the United States. The Biden-Harris administration. We have got to, in America, reimagine how we are accomplishing public safety. And let's be clear, there is no vaccine for racism.
Let's just say there's a vaccine that is approved and even distributed before the election. Would you get it?
Well, I think that's going to be an issue for all of us. I will say that I would not trust Donald Trump.
He's the smartest guy in the room.
I think Papa has it all figured out. Figured out and wrapped up in tissue paper with pink ribbons on it.
Howie Carr is back.
I share the concerns of millions of Americans about voting irregularities. And I promise you, come this Wednesday, we'll have our day in Congress. We'll hear the objections. We'll hear the evidence.
I know some people think that Pence is going to do the right thing, but I think he's going to say, "Well, we've heard the evidence, but there isn't time." And I don't have a good feeling. I don't hate Mike Pence. I've always gotten along with the guy, but I don't see it happening. I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong. I talked to someone today who thinks that he's going to do the right thing and just throw this out, just not count those ballots if he can do it. He may say, I don't have the power under the Constitution, despite what is said, that there have been court rulings. And but if he throws out the ballots of the disputed states, you know, either Trump would win, although I'm not sure about that because he would have fewer than 270 votes. Of course, but he would still have more than Joe Biden. It would probably throw the election into the House of Representatives, and then unless Nancy Pelosi could somehow stop the vote, Donald Trump would be reelected. But again, I think that's a prohibitively long shot. But you know, they're still trying to keep the COVID going. You know, I'm just looking at a headline in the New York Post. Just breaking news. Highly contagious UK variant of COVID-19 found in New York for the first time. Kevin, you're next with Howie Carr. You believe that? I'm not scared. Are you scared?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Kevin.
Hey, I'm just wondering what's going to happen in Georgia, Howie. We couldn't control the whole country's election, and now they're deep in Georgia with like 4,200 GOP members that are going to be witnessing. How are we going to come out clean?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, obviously, it's not going to be this Casper Milquetoast traitor, not traitor, but punk Brad Raffensperger. He may be the rhinoiest rhino of them all. I'm Howie Carr.
My friends at Eden Pure have done it again. Starting today, you can get the Thunderstorm air purifier at the lowest price offered to my listeners. With code word Howie, the Thunderstorm is available for under $90 and shipping is free. This New Year's sale is for 1 week only and while supplies last. The Thunderstorm is a small device you can hold in your hand and plug into the wall to purify the air from any odor. This could be pet odor, kitchen smells, tobacco, or that damp smell lingering in your basement. No filters are needed, and comparable units can start at $600. I've seen them in my doctor's offices and asked myself why they don't order the Thunderstorm. The Thunderstorm doesn't take up floor space and it's quiet. Take advantage of this 1 week only sale and experience for yourself what all my listeners are raving about. Go to EdenPure.com and put in code word Howie. That's EdenPure.com, code word Howie. Shipping is free.
Watch out, Joe Biden. You might have to share some of the spotlight because your running mate, Senator Kamala Harris, is certainly grabbing some attention for her own gaffes.
She was part of our culture. Yes, we wear those notorious B.I.G. t-shirts with a lot of pride.
Best rapper alive, Tupac. He's not. You say he lives on.
Not a lie. I know. I keep doing that. A Harris administration together with Joe Biden as the president of the United States. The Biden-Harris administration. We have got to, in America, reimagine how we are accomplishing public safety. And let's be clear, there is no vaccine for racism.
Let's just say there's a vaccine that is approved and even distributed before the election. Would you get it?
Well, I think that's going to be an issue for all of us. I will say that I would not trust Donald Trump.
And now, 1 minute of Nancy Pelosi.
It is a bill that is much needed for our farmers and ranchers. I think there are only 47 votes against it in the House of Representatives. The American people should know the source of it. Again, we are engaged in the year-end continuing resolution, Homeland Security. I'm not sure. No, I haven't spoken to him since he called the other day, which was a very amicable conversation. Amiable, I guess you would say, not amicable. And I talked to Chuck last night to say, we haven't had an answer. There are other things that are going on that are newsworthy, and I think you'd have more viewers or readers if people.
his being president is that finally we will see how illegitimate his victory actually was.
This wasn't on the level.
Flashing videos that appear and then disappear, and they're on the dark web and nobody can find them.
It's like applying for a job and getting 66 million letters of recommendation and losing to a corrupt human tornado.
So maybe there does need to be a rematch. I mean, obviously, I can beat him again.
So of course he's obsessed with me.
This is Charlie Baker.
Hey everybody, Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker here.
And these are his friends.
I may not make it through this story, and I told a story about a fisherman that I met in New Bedford. He's coming off the boat. He's a big, huge man, completely soaked in sweat and salt water.
In the world of Charlie Baker and his friends, the real world of panic porn, political leaders cannot survive without absolute power, and the public can't be expected to blindly follow orders without first hearing a made-up story.
And he started to cry, and I gave him a hug. He was a big, huge guy. It was like hugging a mountain. And then he said, see those two kids up there? And he said, those are my sons. They were both spectacular football players at New Bedford High School who were given college scholarships, and I ruined their lives. And you hear those kinds of stories every day.
And they're the only friends Charlie Baker has.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
He's the co-sponsor of the Green New Deal, so what better time to play some of his greatest hits? Ladies and gentlemen, it's Mr. Frosty.
This is going to be a mission to save all of creation.
If you want to ignore that these changes are taking place and that they're having a dramatic impact, then you are in the right place.
Do you know what the winters were like at Plymouth Rock? Do you know what the winters were like at Plymouth Rock, Senator?
Well, here is the thing.
You don't. How long has your family been in Massachusetts?
We are new arrivals. And Mr. President, American history was made last night. The Boston Patriots won the Super Bowl. When the Second Amendment was written in order to maintain a well-regulated militia, they did not have in mind that people could purchase guns indiscriminately. The president is acting like Pontius Pilate.
Here's how it works with my retirement accounts, and I'll bet yours too. If your 401k, your SEP, your IRA, whatever is going up, you probably don't think very much about it, right? But if it's going down, well, there's nothing much else you can think of. So for the last couple of years, none of us have been worrying much about those quarterly statements. But lately, it's gotten a little worrisome. It's not that bad, not yet anyway, but what goes up must come down. Now is the time to start thinking about adjusting your investments. Gold and silver have always been a hedge against stock market volatility. Uncertainty about the future has traditionally meant rising prices for precious metals. Orion Metal Exchange is the only precious metals company I trust. Give Orion a call to get a free, no-obligation investment guide about protecting your future with an enduring investment in gold and silver. You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain, including peace of mind, by calling Orion Metal Exchange now. Call them today at 800-912-2300. And with Orion, you'll get more metal for your money. Call 800-912-2300. That's 800-912-2300. I've seen a lot of anchor cupcakes in my day. Here are some of the latest network nitwits.
And he says, if I'm elected president, I will push for a constitutional amendment to impose term limits on all members of Congress. Correct me, there already are term limits, so what does he mean?
And what are we hearing in the background? Is that shelling?
No, Katie, you're actually hearing that from here in Jerusalem, and it's actually fireworks going off right behind me.
We're in our tribes, we're in our corners most of our lives. I think we just heard some gunshots. Should we listen to that for a second, control room? So that's not gunshots? Okay.
Ivanka is not the second lady. She is actually, I don't think she deserves this position. She's actually a senior advisor to the president. So the idea that he would demean her specifically.
Better strap yourself in. It's time for the Howie Carr Show.
We believe that we do have an accurate election.
No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't have. Not even close. You're off by hundreds of thousands of votes. And just on the small numbers, you're off on these numbers.
Don't you just hate wrong numbers?
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
President Trump is the arsonist here. You've started this fire, and now you're saying, whoa, look at this. Oh, my God. All these people believe what we told them.
this fire was started when you completely ignored, for example, our investigation of Hunter Biden. No evidence of wrongdoing there, and now we find out after the election, no, there is a fair amount of evidence to the point that we have a real FBI investigation.
Senator, Shane and unstoppable.
Again, I don't drink, but I'm happy to have ice cream with anybody anytime.
Rump swabs, hacks, and moonbats beware. It's Howie Carr.
844-500-4242. I'm back, and I'll be back for the foreseeable future. And it was the longest vacation I've taken in a long time, and I enjoyed it thoroughly, but I'm glad to be back. And glad Grace has got off to a good start today on her new show. And now it's time for the first chump line of the new year, 2021.
Charlie Baker's campaign slogan: a dead grandma in every nursing home, a closed restaurant on every street corner. Not quite a chicken in every pot, a car in every garage, but Charlie Parker has delivered.
And now he's angry at Donald Trump for trying to fight the rigged election put together by what Joe Biden himself has called the most extensive and inclusive voter fraud organization in American political history. Charlie Baker's angry about this. So is Mitt Romney. So is Paul Ryan. So is Brad Raffensperger. By their friends, ye will know them.
Glad you're back, Howie. I missed you like most Democrat legislators in Massachusetts miss a roll call vote.
Did you see the news after plunging millions of Massachusetts residents into unemployment last year because they didn't bother to stand up for the Constitution and stop the lockdowns? The Massachusetts General Court has today, or a couple of days ago in the new year, has received a 6.5% increase in their pay. 6.5% increase. Did you get a 6.5% increase last year? I'm going to guess you made less money last year if you were like most Americans. But the legislature, which didn't do anything all year, didn't even meet. They didn't even gather together to elect the new speaker. They got a 6.5% pay increase. Isn't that special? The Chump Line is brought to you by Matthews Brothers, America's oldest window manufacturer. This week, remembering Jerry Marsden from Jerry and the Pacemakers. Ferry Costa Mezzi, who reminded us that when you walk through a storm, hold your head up high and don't be afraid of the dark. Walk on with hope in your heart, and you'll never walk alone.
Come on, Howie. The governor said we had to do it religiously with the masks. I didn't hear anybody saying amen and a woman.
How can you make the Stations of the Cross when you social distance? What if somebody slows down and you want to go around them? If you wear the mask religiously while you're making the Stations of the Cross, can you get a table for 7 at your local eatery that's not in hibernation?
May Joseph Biden be forgot because he's lost his mind.
I don't know if he may be forgot, but he certainly forgot everything that he ever knew.
Hi, Howie. Governor Patrick calling. Wow, after taking a 2-week sabbatical, you must be worried about being able to do a flawless radio show. But don't worry, hosting a radio show is just like riding a bicycle. We're going to be fine.
I rode my bike every day, I think, except for one really rainy day. And I'm here, I'm holding up my arms, no problems. You can't see my legs, but they're fine too. I'm in great shape.
I liked it better when the Democrats pretended religion didn't exist.
Yeah, amen and a woman to that.
If Hilaria Baldwin is having trouble pronouncing cucumber, I'm sure Joe Biden could help her out.
I think I'll leave my response on the table.
No, I don't know what is wrong with Hilaria Baldwin pretending to be Spanish. I mean, her husband pretends to be a human being.
Yeah. I thought that story in the New York Post, again, it was funny that she had to change the spelling of her name because she realized she was full of it. But the real lead was, I mean, this is a guy who was harmed by her actions, who successfully sued, who was damaged. His leg, he said, he's still limping, or his friend says he's still limping. And the guy is hiding from Hilario and her nut husband because he's going to be attacked for traumatizing her. And sure enough, when the Baldwins finally tracked the guy down, the victim of their own yoga studio being not a healthy place in which to exercise, they attacked him. They attacked him again. He should have hit him with his crutch.
Maybe along with singing hymns at church, we now have to sing hers.
I hadn't thought of that. Yes. And Joe Biden wants to have a reading from the Book of Psalms.
Hey, Howie, Charlie Parker calling. Did you hear the good news? Massachusetts lawmakers are getting a pay raise. I urge them to spend the extra money at a restaurant. Hee. My friends all love this joke.
I wish, like all of the restaurants that I love and miss, Charlie Parker would go into hibernation until the spring. The spring of 2023, when he's no longer governor, I mean.
Joe Biden said he's never met Hilaria Baldwin, but he thinks Alessandro is an excellent actor.
Okay, go ahead.
Howie, Joe Biden calling. Come on, man. I want to encourage everyone to get out to the polls in Virginia tomorrow. The fact is, you should vote for my great friends, Reverend Sherlock and John Ossoff, David Hasselhoff. I mean it.
Yeah, he screwed up Ossoff's name recently. I can't remember how he screwed it up, but he did. Incidentally, speaking of Virginia, do you see who's jumped into the race to succeed the governor who wears a Klan getup and blackface, Governor Northam? Do you know who's coming back? How could we miss him when he won't go away? Terry McAuliffe. Money bags for the Clintons, big money raiser for the Clintons. He was a term limited out. He was gone for one term, and now he's trying to sneak back in. He's raised $6 million, and he's running against Fairfax, the lieutenant governor, who's been accused by two women on the record, two black women on the record, of raping them. One in Durham, North Carolina, and one in Boston, Massachusetts. He was never prosecuted. It's great to be a Democrat, isn't it?
Honk for your next United States Senator, John Ossoff.
John Ossoff. And Reverend Warlock.
That was your last chump line message. Thank you for calling Howie Carr, you chump.
All right, that's it for the Chump Line today. The Chump Line is the recorded voicemail message service of the Howie Carr Show. You can call and leave a message any hour between the 1 and 4 Eastern Standard Time. 1 and 4 Eastern Standard Time. The Chump Line number, if you'd like to leave such a message, 844-500-4242. Press 2 for the Chump Line. Leave your message. We may or may not play it at this time each weekday. If you want to listen to more Chump Line messages, or you didn't hear yours, was left on the cutting room floor, you can listen to Chopped Chumps. That's our Chump Line podcast. It's posted about the time we go off the broadcast airwaves around 7 o'clock every night. Chop Chumps. Get them wherever you get your Howie Carr Show podcast. The Chump Line is brought to you by Matthews Brothers, America's oldest window manufacturer. This week, remembering Jerry Marsden from Jerry and the Pacemakers, who reminded us, quote, when you walk through a storm, hold your head up high and don't be afraid of the dark. Walk on with hope in your heart and you'll never walk alone. He also
Glad you're back, Howie. Glad you're back, Howie. I missed you like most Democrat legislators in Massachusetts miss a roll call vote.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm Howie Carr.
Want more Howie? Click the Howie Cam on HowieCarShow.com.
If you don't want to replace your carpets due to pet stains and odors, you must try Genesis 950. Genesis 950 was my go-to product for Mr. Gooner. The reviews are amazing as this is one product that actually works. With water, it breaks down the bonds of stains so they are gone for good. Its antibacterial component removes pet owners from carpet and padding. Genesis 950 can be used in a carpet cleaning machine. Genesis 950 is made in America. It is a concentrate, so 1 gallon makes up to 7 gallons of cleaner. But Genesis 950 is not just for pet stains. I brought it to Carolyn's new home, and she couldn't believe the results. Use it in bathrooms, kitchens, floors, and for grease stains. It is great for degreasing engines, wheels, and tires. Consider trying Genesis 950 before purchasing new carpets. It is green, so it's safe for your family and pets. Genesis 950 has great customer service if you need to contact them. Order a gallon direct at Genesis950.com, and you will receive a free spray bottle, free shipping, and discount using code Howie. That's Genesis950.com. Genesis950.com.
When you're in the house for longer periods of time, you can see them flying or running across the floor. Ooh, yuck. They're unhealthy, gross, and disgusting. Bugs. I loathe bugs. We keep a clean home, but occasionally bugs show up. Well, I found something that is tougher than bugs. Orange Guard. On contact, it kills hidden bugs, including ants, roaches, and fleas. Plus, Orange Guard is a residual repellent. All of the ingredients of Orange Guard are on the FDA generally recognized as safe list. Orange Guard may be used around food, humans, and pets. It comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Orange Guard, available at orangeguard.com, Whole Foods, and Ace Hardware.
You've been hearing me talk about Super Beets for a while now, and I'm sure some of you are still thinking, why Super Beets? You could take it from me. The benefits of Super Beets are incredible. I take them twice a day, once in the morning when I get up, even before I have my first cup of coffee, and the other time in the afternoon, right before the show. It gives me a burst of energy. It's great for my blood pressure. It's good for circulation. It just makes you feel better. If that doesn't convince you, we can talk about the science behind Super Beets. Beets have nitrates. Nitrates support better blood flow, and better blood flow equals better energy and efficiency throughout the body, and even supports healthy blood pressure. But Super Beets does so much more than eating regular beets and is unparalleled compared to other beet powders. Just 1 scoop of Super Beets has the nitric oxide equivalent of 3 whole beets. Go to superbeetsradio.com/Howie and try out Super Beets yourself. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie.
Here's Donald Trump Jr. proving once and for all the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
They hate Trump more than they love America. For them to try to take a pandemic and seemingly hope that it comes here and kills millions of people so that they could end Donald Trump's streak of winning. I don't know if this is coronavirus or Trump derangement syndrome, but these people are infected badly. To make this guy into a religious scholar, that's like saying Jeffrey Dahmer is a purveyor of organic and fine exotic meats. Adam Schiff is basically the Jussie Smollett of Congress on steroids.
Children are off limits. Remember this one? If 13-year-old Barron Trump is not off limits, Hunter Biden sure as is not off limits.
Because my name is Trump, if I took $1.5 from China, not $1.5 billion like Hunter, their heads would explode.
Who's your favorite Democrat? Go ahead.
Mitt Romney, Gail. Mitt Romney's my favorite Democrat. How about that?
Please, Lord, in my next life, make me a leftist so I can say anything and get away with it.
Mother of mercy. Is this the end of Rico?
Howie Carr is back.
New year, new hobbies, and everything is better with Raycon wireless earbuds. With up to 6 hours of playtime, water and sweat resistant construction, and seamless Bluetooth pairing, you can take Raycon's premium audio anywhere you go. Right now, get 15% off at buyraycon.com/Howie. Taylor, what's the poll question? What are the results thus far?
How many Senate seats will the Republicans win in the Georgia runoffs tomorrow? 0, 1, or both?
I'm going to say both.
55% say both, 26% say none, and 19% say it'll be a split vote.
All right. 844-500-4242. Headline on Lucianne.com. Video. Migrants chanting Biden, Biden, storm U.S.-Mexico border crossing. I wonder why they're happy with Biden. Wonder why they want to get into the United States. He's promised them free health care. I read over the break that somebody wrote that his statements have been like ringing the dinner bell for every freeloader in the third world. And I agree. And the Washington Post buried a story. I think we may have Jessica Vaughn on tomorrow from the Center for Immigration Studies. The Washington Post had a story last month that they buried. And I mentioned in my column yesterday in the Herald. And they said that the Mexican authorities are very concerned about the fact that Biden wants to open the border because they know that there'll be all these caravans, which are just basically slow-moving northbound crime waves going through Mexico. And they pretty much stopped them because the fact that the border is sealed against illiterate indigents from the third world. And Biden wants to open it back up. And I have a feeling that this new policy that was somewhat successful is why Trump did so much better among Hispanic blocs in the election in November. I mean, he got more votes than any Republican has gotten in 60 years. He carried at least one border county down in Texas, Hidalgo County, because the victims of these criminal illegal aliens that came across the border during the Obama years, the unaccompanied minors, as they were called, a lot of them were MS-13 gangbangers. Most of the victims were Hispanics. And the fewer of these people you let into the country, the fewer Americans are going to be killed by the criminals who get across. They're not all criminals. But what did Trump say in 2015? They're not sending us their best people, generally speaking. And you're already starting to see what's going on here in these large cities. Things are getting more and more out of control. There was a story. Here's a story you'll never see on the network news. You know, they have this crazy liberal prosecutor, a radical. He's the son of some of the Weatherman terrorists of the 1960s and 70s. He's the DA in San Francisco. They're all over the place, including L.A., Chicago. Rachel Rollins in Boston is somewhat radical, but she's not quite as bad as some of these people. But this guy in San Francisco, he's been letting people out. And there's a guy, he's like a career criminal. He's been out on 2 or 3 charges since the spring. And he was driving a stolen car the other day. A stolen car. He had a gun in the car and drugs in the car. And again, he's a career criminal. He should have been in prison. And he just blew through a crosswalk, and he killed 2 people. He ran over 2 pedestrians. Two dead. One of them actually was a person of color. Does the district attorney of San Francisco care about the person of color that was killed by the guy who should have been in jail? Then here's another. This was the lead. Yeah, I know. I know the answer to that question. Then there was there's the lead story in the New York Post today. New Jersey man busted in Manhattan rampage. A crazed club-wielding man left 10 people wounded in a trail of destruction in a Manhattan rampage that included subway assaults, street beatdowns, and 2 carjackings, police said on Sunday. A Atlantic City, New Jersey man wreaked havoc from Tribeca to Chelsea and left tourists fearing for their lives over the course of about an hour on Sunday. He was a one-man crime spree. he broke a Fordham student's arm. He was taking his girlfriend back uptown to Harlem, where they lived, and his hand was broken in the subway. And he started out. There was a delivery guy, an Egyptian, he was a delivery guy, and this nut allegedly came toward him, quote, with this big stick in his hand. He started shouting bleeping bleep bleep at me and raised the stick and started hitting me. So this guy, he's yelling bleep N-word at a white guy. And this guy's black, but he's out on the street. I assume that this was not the first crime he had committed recently. He's a little on the crazy side, but again, he didn't just attack white people. He attacked people of all colors as he was smashing them in the head. 844-500-4242. Let's play a cut from Chuck Todd. Chuck Todd, again, the guy who promoted the fake Russian collusion hoax theory for 4 years, a Democrat operative. His wife is still a Democrat operative.
Hurry up. We won't
go ahead. Cut 16.
You have failed to offer specific evidence of that widespread fraud, but you're demanding an investigation on the grounds that there are allegations of widespread fraud. So essentially, you're the arsonist here. President Trump is the arsonist here. You've started this fire, and now you're saying, whoa, look at this. Oh, my God. All these people believe what we told them because you didn't have the guts to tell the truth that this election was fair.
Everything he said to Senator Johnson applies to himself over the last 4 years. But he has no shame. He's a Democrat. I'm Howie Carr.
Several years ago, we here at Matthews Brothers launched the website called MatthewsBrothers.com. We did this for a couple of reasons.
You got to up the lines
It's our
there.
name, and it seemed to make sense that we name it after ourselves. Secondly, we thought it would be a useful place to post interesting things about our wicked awesome windows and doors. Shortly after we launched it, this fella, who insists on calling himself the webmaster, told us that he could put anything we wanted to on our website. Since we were getting kind of tired of seeing his vacation photos there, we took him up on his offer. Today, there's so much fun stuff to do on our website. It's like going to a theme park, but without the lines or the mask. Do you want to know the closest dealer to you? Even if you're out in the middle of nowhere, or worse yet, New Jersey? We've got a dealer locator for that. Want to page through a colorful catalog without having to lick your fingers? We've got a flip book for that. Accidentally take the bottom sash out of the frame and there's a blizzard coming and you can't get it back in and the factory's closed? We've even got a video for that. You can learn more about our wicked awesome windows and doors, but only at Better Lumber Yards and Window Professionals, or on the web at MatthewsBrothers.com. Matthews Brothers with one T, America's oldest window manufacturer.
Are we starting to feel bad for Joe Biden? Sorta. Are we going to play his gaps anyway? Of course.
My name's Joe Biden. I'm a Democratic candidate for the United States Senate. Now we need to stand behind Jamie Harrison, the next president, next senator. I'm looking forward to appointing the first African-American woman to the United States Senate. Just like here in California, here in Nevada. Back in the spring, late fall, late spring, late winter, early fall, anyway, you know what I mean. Look, tomorrow's Superstar Tuesday. I tell you what, I'm rushing ahead, aren't I? We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing. It says you cannot have 20, 30, 40, 50 clips in a weapon. We'll see who's sleepy.
Mr. Vice President, thank you.
All right, Chuck. Thank you very much.
All right. It's crisp.
Sometimes I wake up and I think it's 1920, not 2020.
Now's the perfect time to get a pair of premium wireless earbuds, and Raycon is the way to go. Raycon start at about half the price of other premium brands on the market, and they sound just as amazing. And Raycon's everyday E25 earbuds are their best model yet. You get 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and a more compact design that gives you a comfortable, noise-isolating fit. Perfect for conference calls, video chats, or binging podcasts. Raycon was founded by Ray J, and celebrities like Cardi B and J.R. Smith have already given Raycons their seal of approval. I love my Raycons, and Grace loves hers, too.
Howie, I love my Raycons.
best birthday gift ever.
I listen to much better music than she does, though.
Hey, that's not true.
Now it's your turn to see what the hype is all about. Go to buyraycon.com/Howie. That's buyraycon.com/Howie. buyraycon.com/Howie.
President Trump is clearly ethically unfit and intellectually unprepared to be the president of the United States. And I support Chairwoman. In the coming weeks, the House will hold hearings. Congresswoman Harris, Congressman Senator, did I say Senator? Senator Harris. He's our president, and I would rather he not be taking something that has not been approved, especially in his age group and in his, shall we say, weight group, what is morbidly obese, they say. So completely inappropriate in so many ways that it's almost a given. It's like a child who comes in with mud on their pants or something. That's the way it is. They're outside playing. That's what he comes in with doggy doo on his shoes, and everybody who works with him has that on their shoes too. But I only will do that if you tell me that this legislation is worthy of George Kirby's name. This moment of national anguish.
I'm the Vice President of the United States.
Love him or hate him, Joe Biden's here for the long haul, but we can't get enough of his gaffes. Here's the best of Uncle Joe speaking before he thinks.
We choose truth over facts. When the stock market crashed, Franklin Roosevelt got on television. Make sure you have the record player on at night. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. Okay, look, all right. Look, well, you can frack with me later, okay? The teachers are Raycon. I'm married to a teacher. My deceased wife is a teacher. And Corn Pop was a bad dude. I can tell you, and I've known 8 presidents. 3 of the minimum. If you agree with me, go to Joe 30330 and help me. Had over 40 kids shot at Kent State on a beautiful lawn. I love this place. Look, what's not to like about Vermont in terms of the beauty of it? I said something that was not meant the way I said. I mean, what is it that I said wrong? I want to be clear. I'm not going nuts. Anyway, my time's up. I'm sorry.
Oh, my thing is off.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
844-500-4242. Boston University and Holy Cross basketball teams will both wear masks during a basketball game tomorrow night. That should be very interesting, right? Good Lord.
I hope they have enough EMTs on hand.
Oh, man. I mean, this is just crazy. And,
is it a foul if they take a mask off during play? Do they get to shoot from the free throw line?
I don't know. I was watching a little bit of the last game, the Sunday night game last night, and they seemed to, the players just seemed to be paying less and less attention. Of course, I guess it doesn't matter to the Giants because they weren't going to make the playoffs once. Earlier in the day, the Philadelphia Eagles, in case you didn't see, they put in their third string quarterback, a guy who was like a sandlot player. When they were if they had won the game against the formerly known as the Redskins, they would have put the Giants in the playoffs, but they just kind of like tanked the game, and so the Giants lost out. But all of the players yesterday seemed to be just, not paying attention to the rules. And again, the rules change, I know, from week to week. But the players, I thought if you took off your helmet, I thought you had to put on the mask. I didn't see much of that yesterday. Not that I cared. I actually liked it. I actually liked seeing less of it because it's so pointless. As I said earlier, they didn't allow anyone to go to the games, or 13 of the 32 teams didn't allow anybody into the stadiums. And out of all the games this year, one person tested positive after attending a game. And that's just tested positive. What the hell does tested positive mean anyway? 844-500-4242. We're going to take some calls here. This is from Issues and Insights. They did a editorial today about Joe Biden And of course, he keeps changing his. He blames Trump for everything. He's like all the Democrats. He blames Trump if Trump does one thing, he blames him for not doing something. If he does something, he should have done something different. Joe Biden has started attacking the Trump administration for not getting the COVID vaccines distributed fast enough. It's the exact opposite of what Biden was saying before the election. This is what he said last week. As I long feared and warned, the effort to distribute and administer the vaccine is not progressing as it should. Okay. Before the election, the only real concern he expressed was that Trump was making unreasonable claims about how quickly a vaccine could be developed, and that Trump was putting pressure on regulators to rush approval. I trust scientists, Biden said in September, but I don't trust Donald Trump, and at this moment, the American people can't either. He added that the idea that there's going to be a vaccine, that everything's going to be fine tomorrow, it's just not rational. Yet now, instead of crediting Trump for achieving what Biden and his cadre of scientists said was impossible, Biden is now attacking Trump for supposedly taking too long to get the vaccines out to the public. Last week, Biden complained that the current rate is going to take years, not months, to vaccinate the public.
And yet he's ahead of schedule? I'm not sure how that works.
Yeah. Keep in mind, too, says Issues and Insights, that what matters most is how many people get the vaccine, not how many people get the vaccine, but how many of the most vulnerable get it. The fact that COVID-19 is almost entirely harmless to the young and healthy. Of the more than 300,000 COVID-related deaths in the U.S., I would say alleged COVID-related deaths in the U.S., just 8,000, fewer than 3%, are among those under the age of 45, according to the CDC, Centers for Disease Control. More than 80% of the fatalities were over 75, and the vast majority of all those who died with COVID also suffered other serious health problems that contributed to their demise. COVID-19 was listed as the sole cause of death, and only 6% of the fatalities attributed to the virus. Let's play the cut from. We're going to play more in the next hour, but let's play the cut from Charlie Baker. I don't understand why he's concerned about this, or why he's making an issue of it at all. Cut 15.
The thing that troubles us all the most is, since Thanksgiving, the average age of the people who are being hospitalized has increased dramatically, and that has real consequences with respect to life and death. If you go back to kind of the beginning to middle of November, I think the average age of the folks in the hospitals was about 60 or 61. I think now it's around 73. That I think is by far, and you talk to any of the folks in the healthcare world, they'll tell you that that's the thing that's most distressing to them as well.
What are you going to do about it? Is death distressing to you? No one wants to die, but it's going to happen.
Maybe I'm confused on this as well for the same reason or a different reason than you, Howie. Isn't that a good thing that the hospitalizations are increasing in age, which means we're not seeing the spike in younger people getting hospitalized for this thing?
Yeah, and again, so the people over the age of 73 are a small percentage of the population. So the vast majority of the population, they may, even if they test positive, they're not going to be hospitalized. I mean, is it anything to be concerned about? And I think if you look at mortality statistics month to month, January is the deadliest month of the year. And the reason that is because it's winter. It's winter. It's the coldest time of the year. People tend to die more in the cold weather, in the dark weather. What do the folks in the health community think? What did they think was going to happen in January? It's a virus. Viruses always kill more in cold weather than in warm weather. What the hell is he talking about? He thinks he's the smartest guy in the room. That's one of the problems with Charlie Parker. He's not the smartest guy in the room. The more he talks, the more I'm thinking he's closer to the dumbest guy in the room. So did anyone ask him about that? Why that's such a terrible thing? Why he's so concerned about that? Would he be happy? Would he be waving the pom-poms if the average age of the hospitalized was down to 53? I don't get it. I think we have to change the rules for the getting on the ballot for the Republican gubernatorial primary in 2022. Let's make you have to get 40% of the vote at the convention. You think Charlie could get 40% of the vote among Republicans at a convention? Activists? I don't think he could get 20%. 844-500-4242-978 says, can you tell me where the flu went? Is the flu afraid of COVID too? Yes, I know. 508, there is no supply or distribution problem. Not enough people want to take it. There are vaccines expiring in hospital freezers. No one wants to take a vaccine with 2 months of safety data. I know. And now they're saying, there was a great column in American Thinker by our friend Brian Jundeff from Denver. He's a physician. And he said that now they're changing the rules on the vaccine. Before and up to now, if you get hit, if you fall off a motorcycle on an interstate highway and you get run over by a truck and you test positive, they say it's a COVID death. If you drink yourself to death, it's a COVID death. If it's a murder-suicide and you test positive, the bodies test positive, it's COVID. But now they're saying when people take the vaccine, older people especially, take the vaccine and then keel over hours or days later, it's irresponsible to report that. They're actually saying that there was somebody in Israel, 88 years old, took the vaccine and then took a heart attack and died 4 hours later. And all the left wing say, what an irresponsible headline. They pointed out the fact that the guy took the vaccine and he died. But they want people to take the vaccine and say, like, in some of these counties where they're giving them to first responders, in Massachusetts, the criminals get them first, of course. That's Massachusetts. But in some of these places where the first responders are getting to them, 40% are saying they don't want to take the vaccine. What are you going to do? You going to force them to take the vaccine? Are you going to force the illegal aliens to take the vaccine? And opening the borders, how is that going to help get the COVID-19 and the new mutant strain from the UK under control?
Hey, Charlie.
Charlie, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Charlie.
Hey, Howie.
Yes.
You were criticizing Joe Biden for all his mental lapses there. It was Jerry Lewis that sang "You'll Never Walk Alone," not the Jerry guy that died.
You take that up with the Matthews Brothers guys. I was reading their copy, Charlie. Sometimes I read other people's copy. The only Jerry and the Pacemakers tune I can remember is "Ferry Across the Mersey," and I can't even remember that very well. I think I remember when I was a kid, I used to turn the channel.
That's Jerry and the Pacemakers singing "You'll Never Walk Alone." So,
but is it their song or is it Jerry Lewis's song?
Jerry Lewis made it popular on the
telethons.
Telethon, yeah, that's how he closed out the telethon.
Well, so whose song was it originally?
Oh, I think it was a pretty old song. It may even predate Jerry and the Pacemakers, but they did have a hit with it.
Did it make the top 10? I'm drawing a total blank on it. But maybe I'm having a Joe Biden moment and I don't remember it. Although I do remember "Ferry Across the Mersey." Thanks, Charlie. 844-500-4242. Yes, I'm in sunny Florida, but when Charlotte and Tina visited for Christmas, we had a cold snap. They couldn't get the heat working at their Airbnb, but guess what? Yup, you guessed it. I had this Gen 40 heater that I'm holding in my hand. They plugged it in and the apartment became toasty and warm. You may have thought of buying the Gen 40 heater to save money, and that's a good plan. But have you thought about buying it as an insurance policy for when your furnace breaks down? It can take days to get a repairman out. But wouldn't you like it to be warm while you're waiting? I'm so happy I had the Gen 40 heater on hand for my kids, and you should have one on hand too for yours or for yourself. My friends at Eden Pure have a new portable infrared heater that lets you turn down your thermostat but keeps your family warm and comfortable. The Eden Pure Gen 40 heater makes you feel warmer than your furnace, and it also costs less to run, saving you money every month. And the Eden Pure Gen 40 will pay for itself in a matter of weeks. Go to EdenPure.com and put in code word Howie Carr to get $50 off the savings price. That's EdenPure.com and use code word Howie Carr for an extra $50 off. Eden Pure Gen 40. Never be cold again wherever you are. I'm Howie Carr.
The Howie Carr Show.
He's the gaff that keeps on giving. Here's 1 minute of former Vice President Joe Biden.
You teachers who touch them, figuratively speaking, well, I hope you touch them and tell them how much you love them too. But my point is, when you touch their hearts, I get in trouble some of the things I say. But I want to tell you, just be straight up. If I'm your president, with me, it starts here in my gut, goes to my heart, and then I articulate it. And by the way, I sit on the stand and it get hot. I got hairy legs that turn turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. 1.2 billion. So you go ahead and you stack spaghetti sauce at a store in a supermarket. You control the guy or the woman who brings out the carts on a forklift. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap, and I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
Hair loss is not one of life's more enjoyable experiences. If you're looking to fill in your hairline or reverse years of hair loss, DiStefano Hair Restoration will create a result that will be a transformative experience. The result of my IGT procedure was quite remarkable. I now have fuller, thicker hair, so I can even wear it a bit longer. There are a few major decisions I've made in my life that I wish I did sooner. My hair restoration is number one. It was by far one of the best moves I've ever made. My hair looks awesome, and the confidence from having a full head of hair again has left me feeling great. I used to look in the mirror and dreaded seeing my ever-increasing bald spot. Now when I look in the mirror, I see the new me with a full head of thick hair. For information on how to make the same choice I did, go to hairman.com/Howie. What are you waiting for? More hair to fall out? Get the hair you've always wanted. Hairman.com/Howie.
Jim Acosta, without a doubt, wins the competition for Trump's least favorite journalist of all time. Let's listen to some of their feistier moments.
I'll tell you what, CNN should be ashamed of itself having you working for them. You are a rude, terrible person. You shouldn't be working for CNN. Should I let him have a little bit more? What do you think, Peter? Peter, should I let him have a little bit more? Sit down. I'm changing it from fake news, though.
Doesn't that undermine?
Very fake news.
I know, but aren't you?
When I raise money, excuse me, I've watched you on television. You're a real beauty. Honestly, I think you should let me run the country. You run CNN.
All right.
And if you did it well, your ratings would be much better.
If I may ask one other question, Mr. President, if I may ask one other question, are you worried?
That's enough. That's enough.
Mr. President, what do you say to your critics who say that you're concocting a national emergency here in order to get your wall because you couldn't get it through other ways?
What do you think? You think I'm creating something? Ask these incredible women who lost their daughters and their sons, because your question is a very political question, because you have an agenda. You're CNN. You're fake news.
Excitable? You bet I'm excitable. We're trying to put a guilty man in the chair where he belongs. Someone starts telling us fairy tales and we're listening.
Howie Carr is back.
Kathy, the texter wanted to know if I was still going to get the jab. Yeah, I'm going to get it when I get a chance. I mean, I'm not rushing to get it. I put my name in with the physician who's got a batch, and then they're giving them out to Florida residents, anybody over the age of 65, at the fire station in the town. But they, I have. It's funny because all these people who are from New York, they signed up to get the vaccine, but they're going to get a real surprise when they go down there because guess what? Unlike when you vote, they're asking you for your driver's license. And if you have a New York driver's license or a Massachusetts driver's license, they're not going to give you the vaccine. Boys, they're going to be some screaming down at the fire station. But yeah, I'll get it. But I didn't. I just put my name in, and they said they'd call me back when they had an opening. I'm not worried. But what am I going to do? It's not a big deal. Anyway, You'll Walk Alone is apparently from the musical Carousel.
You'll Never Walk Alone.
You'll Never Walk Alone, excuse me. 1945. It's a show tune. And Jerry and the Pacemakers also sang, and I know why I couldn't remember any of their songs. I like it. I like it. I didn't like it, that song. And don't let the sun catch you crying.
Their version of You'll Never Walk Alone went to #1 in the UK and peaked at 48 in September of 65 in the US.
That's what that confirms my suspicion. In other words, if there had been Casey Kasem's American Top 40 in 1965, it never would have made it. I know many great tunes didn't crack the AT Top 40, but it tells you something about that song. 844-500-4242. And someone says it was an anthem for one of the soccer teams over in England. Well, that doesn't mean that he wrote it, though. Maybe he sang it for one of the soccer teams. Casey, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Casey.
How you doing, Howie? It's good to hear you again, buddy.
Thank you. Thanks for. I'm glad to be back.
Yeah, I had the virus actually last month actually, and I'm actually feeling a little better, knock on wood, and I'm glad that I'm back up and running and back to work and everything. But I might get the vaccine just to be on the safe side.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder what I had. I got sick for a few days last February, and so did the mailroom manager. And it was right after I was down in Miami Beach when, at the not at the Super Bowl, but around where the Super Bowl was with people who were going to the Super Bowl. And people said that they think there was a lot spread around then. And I just wonder if I've had it already, but I don't know. I'm going to get it, but if I didn't get it, I don't think it would change my life one way or the other. I mean, you can make a joke, it would kill me if I don't get it. But
if you got the antibody test to see if you've already had it and you got a positive on that saying that you did have it already, would you get the vaccine in addition to that knowledge? Probably not. I don't know. But, on the other hand, Casey may be right, though. I mean, I wouldn't want to get it. It's like the shingle shot. When I was signing up for the COVID shot, I said, by the way, I'd also like to come in because it's walking distance, the office to my house, to my place. I said, I'd also like to get the shingle shot and I've had shingles, but I just don't want to have. I hated shingles so bad. It was so horrible. I want to make sure I never get shingles again. Thanks for the call, Casey. I'm glad you're feeling better. Judy, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Judy.
Hi, Howie.
Hi.
I'm still being optimistic about Wednesday, but listening to you today, I know you have a connection down there in Mar-a-Lago. It's making me I'm just freaking out over here.
Judy, I'm not trying to be, gloomy Gus, but I'm just trying to be realistic about it. I'm not sure. I just see the path has been narrowing for a long time, and it's gotten a lot narrower as time has gone on. I mean, I don't want to delude you, but on the other hand, I don't want to be Pollyanna. You understand?
I understand. I think you know way more than me. And I don't know. It just, what can I tell you?
I know
it's upsetting.
It's very depressing because I think we won the election. I mean, it would be one thing if I thought that Trump had actually lost the election, but I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I saw him on the day after Christmas. Charlotte wanted to go to Mar-a-Lago for her birthday, and he came down and he was having a dinner. I didn't talk to him or anything. He was less
Less than his jovial self?
Less jovial. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I was going to say ebullient, but I wasn't even sure how to pronounce that word. Jovial is a better word. He was less jovial than usual, but he waved to everybody and then sat down. He's not a hermit, that's for sure. I'm still for him all the way. He was the best president of my lifetime, I think. I'm Howie Carr.
My friends at Eden Pure have done it again. Starting today, you can get the Thunderstorm air purifier at the lowest price offered to my listeners. With code word Howie, the Thunderstorm is available for under $90 and shipping is free. This New Year's sale is for 1 week only and while supplies last. The Thunderstorm is a small device you can hold in your hand and plug into the wall to purify the air from any odor. This could be pet odor, kitchen smells, tobacco, or that damp smell lingering in your basement. No filters are needed, and comparable units can start at $600. I've seen them in my doctor's offices and asked myself why they don't order the Thunderstorm. The Thunderstorm doesn't take up floor space and it's quiet. Take advantage of this 1 week only sale and experience for yourself what all my listeners are raving about. Go to EdenPure.com and put in code word Howie. That's EdenPure.com, code word Howie. Shipping is free.
He is the youngest senator that is going to be running. In his video, he also mentioned he's the only senator that lives in the inner city, and he's an unmarried vegan. So a lot of very unique qualities Cory Booker brings to the table, Kate.
Now, I appreciate the comments of my colleagues. This is about the closest I'll probably ever have in my life to an I am Spartacus moment. I am Spartacus. I am Spartacus.
Joey, you like movies about gladiators?
Have you ever had an LGBTQ law clerk?
I've not been a judge, so I don't have any law clerks.
Someone working for you.
I'm to be honest, I don't know the sexual orientation of my staff.
When Dick Durbin called me, I had tears of rage when I heard about this experience in that meeting. And for you not to feel that hurt, tears of rage.
Would you just stop being so dramatic?
I'm a big believer that if this country hasn't broken your heart, then you don't love her enough.
Here's 1 minute of Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
There's a lot of restaurants that are feeling the pain of racism, where people are literally not patroning Chinese restaurants. They're not patroning Asian restaurants because of just straight up racism around the coronavirus. So,
only in America does when the president tweets about liberation, does he mean go back to work? When we, have this discussion about going back or reopening, I think a lot of people should just say no. We're not going back to that.
I know it sounds banal. Do we know how long puppies are allowed to stay with their mothers after a dog has given birth?
I don't.
8 weeks. So the market has decided that women and people who give birth deserve less time with their children than a dog.
So the whole premise of the Green New Deal is that we're screwed.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
Here's how it works with my retirement accounts, and I'll bet yours too. If your 401k, your SEP, your IRA, whatever, is going up, you probably don't think very much about it, right? But if it's going down, well, there's nothing much else you can think of. So for the last couple of years, none of us have been worrying much about those quarterly statements. But lately, it's gotten a little worrisome. It's not that bad, not yet anyway, but what goes up must come down. Now is the time to start thinking about adjusting your investments. Gold and silver have always been a hedge against stock market volatility. Uncertainty about the future has traditionally meant rising prices for precious metals. Orion Metal Exchange is the only precious metals company I trust. Give Orion a call to get a free, no-obligation investment guide about protecting your future with an enduring investment in gold and silver. You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain, including peace of mind, by calling Orion Metal Exchange now. Call them today at 800-912-2300. And with Orion, you'll get more metal for your money. Call 800-912-2300. That's 800-912-2300. And now, another minute of Madam Speaker, Nancy Pelosi.
But again,
You have these wings, AOC and her group on one side.
That's like 5 people. They would say, play games, and then they'd say, open sesame, except we don't say sesame, we say open Biden. But no, because we are not. We have the number is growing. We have 91 women. There are 115 women in Congress, 116. 15 are Republican, 91 are Democrats. I happen to be a manifestation of the women power that is coming forth now, but only one manifestation. It was like getting kicked in the back by a mule constantly. It was physical. It was so unbelievable. The Times found Lincoln. Not to be presumptuous to put ourselves in those categories, but the Times have found us.
We are now effective today requiring all counties to close their indoor activities, their indoor operations in the following sectors: restaurants, wineries, tasting rooms. A few weeks ago, I was asked to go to a friend's 50th birthday. I made a bad mistake. Instead of sitting down, I should have stood up.
Stay at home as much as possible. Put those social gatherings on hold, including extra care for Thanksgiving.
Denver's mayor told you to stay home for Thanksgiving, then he got on a flight to go see family out of state.
Some people calling Supervisor Kuehl a hypocrite. Now, on November 24th, she voted to ban outdoor dining, and on the very same day, she was spotted eating out.
I take responsibility for trusting the word of a neighborhood salon that I've been to over the years. As it turns out, it was a setup. So I take responsibility for falling for a setup. This salon owes me an apology. What they do.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
Joe Biden doesn't have time for malarkey, and he also doesn't have a lot of time for geography. Take a listen.
The people of Nevada are watching, and I'm going to be out there seeing them very soon. Tonight, though, we just heard from the first 2 of 50 states. It's important that Iowa and Nevada have spoken, but look, we need to hear from Nevada and South Carolina and Super Tuesday states and beyond.
And Biden doesn't know the difference between Iran and Iraq. He's gotten it wrong 4 times.
We tried it in Iraq. It's not working, so now we're going to try, in Iran. We tried in Ukraine.
He always gets the name wrong.
I love this place. Look, what's not to like about Vermont in terms of the beauty of it? And what a neat town. This is sort of a scenic, beautiful town. I like Keene a lot.
How many times has he missed it? He's in Iowa. It's great to be in the great state of Ohio. And they say, Joe, you're in Iowa.
How many unsafe bridges you still have here in the state of Iowa? And I was just in Ohio because they have more.
You've been hearing me talk about Super Beets for a while now, and I'm sure some of you are still thinking, why Super Beets? You could take it from me. The benefits of Super Beets are incredible. I take them twice a day, once in the morning when I get up, even before I have my first cup of coffee, and the other time in the afternoon, right before the show. It gives me a burst of energy. It's great for my blood pressure. It's good for circulation. It just makes you feel better. If that doesn't convince you, we can talk about the science behind Super Beets. Beets have nitrates. Nitrates support better blood flow, and better blood flow equals better energy and efficiency throughout the body, and even supports healthy blood pressure. But Super Beets does so much more than eating regular beets and is unparalleled compared to other beet powders. Just 1 scoop of Super Beets has the nitric oxide equivalent of 3 whole beets. Go to superbeetsradio.com/Howie and try out Super Beets yourself. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie. And now, some of my favorite fake Indian cuts of all time.
I'm not going to ask you for your favorite curse word. Actually, I am. Do you have a favorite curse word? Poop. Poop? Oh, that's a goody two-shoes favorite curse word if I ever heard one.
Are you kidding? Have you ever seen a woman like me look you straight in the face after you finished some long explanation of something and then just said, poop? Hold on a sec. I'm going to get me a beer.
I am not sure what she's talking about as far as a rally with.
It was a rally in Bern, Oregon, is that you have to figure out who.
Better strap yourself in. It's time for the Howie Carr Show.
We believe that we do have an accurate election.
No, I know you don't. No, you don't. You don't have. Not even close. You're off by hundreds of thousands of votes. And just on the small numbers, you're off on these numbers.
Don't you just hate wrong numbers? Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
President Trump is the arsonist here. You've started this fire, and now you're saying, whoa, look at this. Oh, my God. All these people believe what we told them.
This fire was started when you completely ignored, for example, our investigation of Hunter Biden. No evidence of wrongdoing there, and now we find out after the election, no, there is a fair amount of evidence to the point that we have a real FBI investigation.
Senator, shame and unstoppable.
Again, I don't drink, but I'm happy to have ice cream with anybody anytime.
Rump swabs, hacks, and moonbats beware. It's Howie Carr.
So we're about an hour away to the president's rally, election eve rally in the Peachtree state of Georgia. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure you are too. Be interested in seeing what he has to say about the Secretary of State down there. I guess he filed 2 lawsuits against him for leaking the recording of his settlement talks with the Secretary of State. Trump and the campaign has been suing the state of Georgia over the flawed, shall we say, election.
Would you like to hear a little bit of Joe Biden in Georgia today?
Oh, yes, of course. Before we move on to the pay raises on Beacon Hill, go ahead.
You voted in record numbers in November. Your voices were heard. Your votes were counted. The will of the people prevailed. We won 3 times here.
They won 3 times?
Apparently. That's where all those other votes were from. They had a secret election.
Maybe he's talking about 1988 when he first ran for president, although I thought he dropped out before 1988 even arrived. I think he dropped out in late 1987, maybe, and then the second time, I guess, would be 2008 when he dropped out pretty early as well, and now he's run again.
Wait, is he counting the times he was elected as vice president?
That could be too. Then that would be 3 times he actually did, quote unquote, win. All right, glad he's amused. Anyway, you saw the front page of the Herald today that the automatic pay raises, the Solons in the general court got a lot of bad ink, a lot of bad publicity over the years with their pay raises, their secret pay raises that they would vote. One year they voted them on Halloween. So now they've decided to give themselves cost of living raises every 2 years. Every new session they get another pay raise. So the new legislature has been sworn in or was about to be sworn in. I don't know if they've done it. I think they've done it, or they will be doing it anyway. So they get a new pay raise. Their base salary has gone up $4,280. That's an increase of what, 6%. They're going up. Their base pay is now $70,537. But wait. That's just the beginning. So while the state suffered through the largest unemployment rate in the country for several months last year, still has the highest nursing home death rate in the country, 3rd highest overall death rate in the country, the legislators have decided to pat themselves on the back and give themselves, or automatically receive, because they say they have nothing to do with it. It's law. Hey, you can't fight City Hall or the State House. So they took the pay raise to $4,280. That's about $80 a week. But wait, there's more. They all get a stipend, or 139 of the 200 hacks in the legislature get a stipend for their arduous leadership duties. And remember, they don't even meet anymore. There's about all the so-called work, writing the budget, is done by about 4 people. But 139 of them get stipends. And the stipend, the lowest stipend now, is $16,245. So of the senators, all 40 of the senators get at least $16,000. So the minimum pay in the Senate is $86,000 a year, and the stipends go all the way up to $86,640 for the House Speaker and the Senate President. So that means that Mariano and Spilka are getting over $160,000. But wait, there's more. They get the commuting money. The commuting money, if you live within 15 miles or 50 miles of the State House, you collect an extra $16,250. Used to collect it. Now you go up to 17,000. So that means the lowest paid senator with his what used to be known as per diems is now making $103,000. The lowest paid senator. All right. Meanwhile, Charlie Parker says he's not taking his $9,800 raise. Neither is Pay to Play Polito. But I didn't know this. Did you know that the governor gets a $60,000 housing allowance? $60,000 housing allowance. So the Beacon Hill News Service is reporting that Charlie Parker is now making $270,000 a year. 603 says, what is the cost of living is the raise based upon? My cost of living raise for the past 2 years was zip. Yeah, my pay at the Herald has gone up zip. Actually, last year for part of the year when the lockdown was going on, I took a 20% pay cut for 2 or 3 months. So my pay went down. I own the show, so that's different. But my actual pay at the Herald went down last year. But then I'm not a Solon. I think the Social Security increase this year was a gaudy 1.3%. 1.3%. And for the Solons, it was 6.4%. So I guess they're 5 times as more valuable as everybody who's on Social Security. 5 times the pay raise. All right. 844-500-4242. Taylor, how would you rate today's press conference?
Oh, he got very, very, very angry today when asked about the election. So we can
let's start with that before we go into the local panic porn.
All right. So let's go to which is good.
I'm leaving it to you.
I'm going to start at cut 8 is where he actually started. Kind of scoffed after he was asked how he thinks the challenges are going.
Okay.
I can't remember who said this over the weekend, but someone said President-elect Joe Biden won the election fair and square.
I think that was George Soros who said that. I could be wrong. All right, what's next?
So I'll skip to cut 11 where he really starts to get riled up and he starts saying that all of these challenges are getting a little too ridiculous, even though they're all completely legal and constitutional.
I think the noise and the accusations and the commentary about challenging this or that is an affront to democracy and to the voice of the people who turned out in record numbers in this election to support a whole bunch of candidates up and down the ticket.
Is unconstitutional shutdown of the state for almost a year now, is that an affront to democracy? Just asking. Someone points out, one of the texters, I said Charlie Parker thinks he's the smartest guy in the room. And the texter pointed out in most of these press conferences, he's actually the only guy in the room. That I hadn't thought about it in those terms. What's the next one?
We'll go to cut 12. He goes full rhino here and can't understand why the Republicans are the way they are.
And for the life of me, I can't figure out how people in my party can say all the other elections in which their folks barely won were fine, and the only one that they seem to have any concerns about is the one at the top of the ticket.
maybe it was because all of those votes that came in after the polling, the counting was shut down for 5 hours. And the fact that votes were being switched around and they were getting videos of them and the videos about what was going on in Fulton County and the glitch in that county in Michigan and all of the military ballots going for Joe Biden, just to cite some of the information in the 1,000 sworn affidavits. Okay, we got some more to play.
We have
when we
one
come
more,
back.
but this one's a little bit longer, and everybody should hear the entirety of it because he absolutely loses his stuff.
Well, should we wait till after the break? We'll wait till after the break.
Yeah, after the break.
We'll wait till after the break, but stand by for a barrage from Beta Male Charlie Parker. I recently had a dental emergency, and where did I go? Perfect Smiles. I've said this before, but I was reminded again, this happened last summer, of what a perfectionist Dr. Houghton is. He is a veneer engineer and a world-class dental artist. Being on TV, it's important that I look my best. Dr. Houghton did that for me, and he can do it for you too. We're in a climate right now where a lot of people don't want to go into the city for whatever reason. Perfect Smiles is conveniently located in Nashua, New Hampshire, just off the highway. Parking is plentiful, parking is free. I was impressed to see all the state-of-the-art safety protocols they've taken since the virus. And some of them actually make going to the dentist a more pleasurable experience than it used to be, believe it or not. You'll feel safe and confident when you visit Perfect Smiles, and you won't have to worry about opening your mouth. To see for yourself and get your perfect smile, call 1-844-A-PERFECT-SMILE. That's 1-844-A-PERFECT-SMILE, or go to HowieCarrShow.com and click on the Perfect Smiles banner. You can also see my video at PerfectSmiles.com. Perfect Smiles. Change your smile, change your life. I'm Howie Carr.
Howie Carr will return after this brief commercial break.
I tested positive. Let's use this example of me having it as proof that you can get it too. God forbid, the rest of us should be staying at home for our mothers and the people that we love. And to keep us farther apart will ultimately bring us closer together in this cause. We have to do everything we can to avoid being sick. No matter where the virus goes, the way to stop it will always be the same. Our collective conscientious actions. Staying home. Staying home saves lives. I don't want some jack loser, fat tire biker get in my face and in my space and talk to me. I don't want to hear it. All right, here it is. The official re-entry from the basement.
You're a phony. Hey, this guy's a great big phony.
Cleared by CDC. A little sweaty. Just worked out.
Oh, my.
Now's the perfect time to get a pair of premium wireless earbuds, and Raycon is the way to go. Raycon start at about half the price of other premium brands on the market, and they sound just as amazing. And Raycon's everyday E25 earbuds are their best model yet. You get 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and a more compact design that gives you a comfortable, noise-isolating fit. Perfect for conference calls, video chats, or binging podcasts. Raycon was founded by Ray J, and celebrities like Cardi B and J.R. Smith have already given Raycons their seal of approval. I love my Raycons, and Grace loves hers, too.
Howie, I love my Raycons. Best birthday gift ever.
I listen to much better music than she does, though.
Hey, that's not true.
Now it's your turn to see what the hype is all about. Go to buyraycon.com.
Hey, Howie.
Yes.
I just sent you a couple of tweets in your email. I think it was CBS News did an interview with Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
And she was talking about she was marching when she was 5 or 6 years old in Birmingham or something, and or California, wherever it was. And she made up this story about how when her mother asked her what she wanted, she said, "Freedom," like a little kid, freedom. But apparently in a 1965 Playboy article, somebody had regaled the interviewer with this story. So it looks like she lifted a Playboy story from 1965 and adopted it as her own.
Wow.
Check out the tweets.
Was this before or after she celebrated Kwanzaa?
I think this just came out today. So.
No, but you saw that story, right? She claims she's a Kwanzaa person.
Oh yeah. Oh, it was a Martin Luther King interview with Playboy in 1965 that she lifted it from.
Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
Howie Carr is back.
New year, new hobbies, and everything is better with Raycon wireless earbuds. With up to 6 years of playtime, water, and sweat-resistant construction and seamless Bluetooth pairing, you can take Raycon's premium audio anywhere you go. Right now, get 15% off at buyraycon.com/Howie. That's buyraycon.com/Howie. Taylor, what's the poll question? What are the results thus far?
How many Senate seats will the Republicans win in the Georgia runoffs tomorrow? 0, 1, or 2?
2. I'm trying to be optimistic here. The glass is half full.
I think the audience is going along with you. 56% now say that they'll win both Senate seats.
All right.
25% say none.
You know, Kamala Harris, she celebrated Kwanzaa when she was a kid. Nobody knew that, but that's what she said recently. Well, she's got a new whopper out. But first, let's play Charlie Parker Losing It this afternoon. Cut 13.
And it is my hope that these initiatives fail and the electors do the right thing. And the orderly transition that we desperately need as a nation. We just finished 20 minutes of Q&A with you all about the largest and most significant and potentially life-saving vaccine rollout in U.S. history. That I think everybody at this point in time would say can't happen fast enough. And I think everybody would also agree that there have been bumps associated with the rollout, which we all expected and anticipated, with the notion that eventually the wheel would start to spin and things would work the way they should. That, in my view, is where our colleagues at the federal level should be focusing their time and their attention, is doing everything they all together possibly can to make sure that every vulnerable American, every healthcare worker, every long-term care resident, every long-term care staff member, and everybody else gets access to those 2 doses as soon as is practically possible. That should be the focus right now of what our colleagues in Washington are up to, in my view.
Every long-term care resident that hasn't died in one of my nursing homes, that is. I know 1 out of 8 are dead, the highest rate in the country. But I'm angry. God. But wait, he'll be back. We'll play one more here before we go to the Kamala Harris stuff. Cut 14.
Yeah, we'll probably be back sometime toward the end of the week based on the data to make a decision about whether or not to extend that beyond, to extend the current regulations that are in place, orders that are in place beyond January 10th. Yeah.
What does he care? He's making $270,000 a year. It's no skin off his rear end. Bruce from the Mets says, if I hear Parker say folks one more time, ... Yeah, I know. I know, Bruce. We all feel the same way. Okay, so Kamala Harris, the vice president-elect, she's got another whopper here. So apparently, where is this piece from?
The original piece was published in Ellie or Ella. It's
It's one of those magazines that nobody reads.
Yeah, it's on the rack at the grocery counter.
Right.
This was published on October 6th of 2020.
Okay. So she says she started her life's work young. She laughs from her gut, the way you would with family, as she remembers being. Oh man, as she remembers, this is the way all these female magazines write now. These women's magazines. As she remembers being wheeled through an Oakland, California civil rights march in a stroller.
Why is Charlie Parker reading this?
With no straps, with her parents and her uncle. At some point, she fell from the stroller. Few safety regulations existed for children's equipment back then, and the adults, caught up in the rapture of protest, just kept marching on. By the time they noticed little Kamala was gone and doubled back, she was understandably upset. My mother tells the story about how I'm fussing, and she's like, "Baby, what do you want? What do you need?" And I just looked at her and said, "Freedom. Freedom."
I'll take things that never happened for 500, Alex.
And as somebody has pointed out, this bears a remarkable resemblance to what Martin Luther King told Playboy magazine in an interview in 1965. I will never forget a moment in Birmingham when a white policeman accosted a little Negro girl, 7 or 8 years old, who was walking at a demonstration with her mother. "What do you want?" the policeman asked her gruffly, and the little girl looked him straight in the eye and answered, "Freedom." She couldn't even pronounce it, but she knew. It was beautiful. Many times when I have been in sorely trying situations, the memory of that little one has come into my mind and it has buoyed me. Well, how dare they say this? The little girl in Martin Luther King Jr.'s story said, "Freedom." Kamala Harris said, "Freedom."
She would have been probably less than a year old, should she have been the one that said that.
Yeah, I mean, weren't civil rights demonstrations pretty much, she was born in what, 1965, something like that?
64.
64.
This is another, and that little girl was me story.
Yeah, I want a reference. I want to see, when was that civil rights demonstration in 1970 or whatever she says it was. They went after Romney for making up a story about being at a civil rights demonstration in Detroit. I want to see him go after Kamala Harris the same way. I'm Howie Carr. If you don't want to replace your carpets due to pet stains and odors, you must try Genesis 950. Genesis 950 was my go-to product for Mr. Gooner. The reviews are amazing, as this is one product that actually works. With water, it breaks down the bonds of stains so they are gone for good. Its antibacterial component removes pet owners from carpet and padding. Genesis 950 can be used in a carpet cleaning machine. Genesis 950 is made in America. It is a concentrate, so 1 gallon makes up to 7 gallons of cleaner. But Genesis 950 is not just for pet stains. I brought it to Carolyn's new home, and she couldn't believe the results. Use it in bathrooms, kitchens, floors, and for grease stains. It is great for degreasing engines, wheels, and tires. Consider trying Genesis 950 before purchasing new carpets. It is green, so it's safe for your family and pets. Genesis 950 has great customer service if you need to contact them. Order a gallon direct at genesis950.com, and you will receive a free spray bottle, free shipping, and discount using code Howie. That's genesis950.com. genesis950.com.
President Trump is clearly, ethically unfit and intellectually unprepared to be the president of the United States. And I support Chairwoman. In the coming weeks, the House will hold hearings. Congresswoman Harris, Senator Harris. He's our president, and I would rather he not be taking something that has not been approved, especially in his age group and in his, shall we say, weight group, what is morbidly obese, they say. So completely inappropriate in so many.
Will you retweet that for me?
Sure.
And can you also send me the Baker cuts, or have somebody send me the Baker cuts?
Sure thing.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
That's what he comes in with doggy do on his shoes, and everybody who works with him has that on their shoes too. But I only will do that if you tell me that this legislation is worthy of George Kirby's name. This moment of national anguish.
Hair loss is not one of life's more enjoyable experiences. If you're looking to fill in your hairline or reverse years of hair loss, DiStefano Hair Restoration will create a result that will be a transformative experience. The result of my IGT procedure was quite remarkable. I now have fuller, thicker hair so I can even wear it a bit longer. There are a few major decisions I've made in my life that I wish I did sooner. My hair restoration is number one. It was by far one of the best moves I've ever made. My hair looks awesome, and the confidence from having a full head of hair again has left me feeling great. I used to look in the mirror and dreaded seeing my ever-increasing bald spot. Now when I look in the mirror, I see the new me with a full head of thick hair. For information on how to make the same choice I did, go to hairman.com/Howie. What are you waiting for? More hair to fall out? Get the hair you've always wanted. Hairman.com/Howie.
Are we starting to feel bad for Joe Biden? Sorta. Are we going to play his gaps anyway? Of course.
My name's Joe Biden. I'm a Democratic candidate for the United States Senate. Now we need to stand behind Jamie Harrison, the next president, next senator. I'm looking forward to appointing the first African-American woman to the United States Senate. Just like here in California, here in Nevada. Back in the spring, late fall, late spring, late winter, early fall, anyway, you know what I mean. Look, tomorrow's Superstar Tuesday. I tell you what, I'm rushing ahead, aren't I? We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing. It says you cannot have 20, 30, 40, 50 clips in a weapon. We'll see who's sleepy.
Mr. Vice President, thank you.
All right, Chuck. Thank you very much.
All right. It's Christmas.
Sometimes I wake up and I think it's 1920, not 2020.
Are you aware that the Episcopal Archbishop of Washington and the presiding bishop of the Episcopal Church nationally all denounced this police assault on the civil rights and civil liberties of the people?
Did they do that before or after the fire was put out?
Do you want to rephrase what you're doing? Because I think the word spying could cause everybody in the cable news ecosystem to freak out.
I'm not sure of all the connotations of that word that you're referring to, but unauthorized surveillance.
Okay, thank you.
Is that more appropriate in your mind?
This is your call. I really did want to give you a chance to say it how you wanted to say it and make sure that you didn't misspeak.
How can you sit here and tell us why should I investigate the president of the United States if you're not even aware of the facts concerning the president using the pardon or commutation power to swap the silence of a witness?
Because we require, a reliable predicate before we open a criminal investigation.
Do you think that this body right here would rise up if they decided to go tonight and paint the Capitol building?
This body, I'm not sure.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
844-500-4242. That's the toll-free number of the Howie Carr Show. 917 says, I think Kamala is confusing her story. She said tweet him when she was visiting Nelson Mandela in his cell in South Africa and telling him what to say. There's another one. 508. Funny, Kamala Harris is portraying herself as the Forrest Gump of the civil rights movement when she was essentially born after it. Yeah. I know. 508. Kamala knows how to play liberal white women like a fiddle. She can keep lying. They eat it up. 781. Who does Kamala think she is? John Kerry. I was an altar boy. I'm fascinated by rap. I worked on a farm. I windsurfed with the tradesmen on Nantucket. I shot a 24-point buck on Cape Cod. Yes, indeed. Of course you did, John. Of course you did. 844.
Can I get me a hunting license here?
Now they're saying that a treatment for lice is could be an effective medication against COVID-19. They also said that taking vitamin D could be an effective medication against it. Incidentally, did you read the story yesterday that Bond girl Tanya Roberts had died at the age of 65? Did you see that story?
Very fake news.
Yeah. Never mind. Reports of the death of Tanya Roberts have been greatly exaggerated.
Is it fair to say she'll die another day?
That's a good way to put it. You only live twice. Tanya Roberts, and now you're on your second. A day after releasing a statement saying that the 65-year-old former Bond girl had died, her rep Mike Pingle on Monday made the stunning admission to TMZ that he had been mistaken. Well, I guess it's good news, isn't it? 844-500-4242. We'll take some calls in this these last few segments of the show, and we're glad to have WVOM back with us. They had a University of Maine hockey game, and it preempted us. But thank you. I'm glad you guys are back, and I'm glad you're happy to be back, and I'm glad to be back as well. 844-500-4242. So I found this a rather amusing cut, Taylor, from Charlie Parker. This is when he's talking about the vaccine skeptics, how they can be easily fooled by fake news. As this guy's been purveying fake news for how long? He wanted to flatten the curve for 15 days, 9 months ago. In November, he said all it would take would be 30 days of everybody wearing the mask, quote unquote, religiously. So we're 60 days from wearing the mask for 30 days. And he's still saying, though, that you can trust him. He's not like the others. Cut 7.
All of the conversations that I've been on and the Lieutenant Governor's been on with folks in the healthcare community about people's willingness to take this, I have come to the conclusion that the over-the-top big message from unknown parties of almost any kind, maybe with the exception of Dr. Fauci, are nowhere near as effective as peer-to-peer conversations.
Unknown parties. Are those unknown parties, do they include all your friends who call you up when they're sick and they went out and they were very skeptical of you? Do they include your fisherman friend with his 2 sons down in New Bedford? Unknown parties. This guy is told as many tall tales as Kamala Harris. Different kind of tall tales, but it's the same basic MO, which is lying through his teeth. 844-500-4242.
My favorite cut here, Howie, is a reporter seems to try to throw a line to the restaurant owners just to give them something to do. You might be able to hear it in the cut, a little tough to hear, but he says, there are a lot of restaurant owners, they are offering their freezers. They have a lot of unusable material right now, their freezers, their refrigerators. They can store the vaccines. Are you going to look into them for help in finding a place to store the vaccines? Mary Lou Sutters shuts that down very quick and doesn't want them doing anything.
Yeah. Governor, on that point, we've seen some restaurants coming forward saying, look, we've got freezers, we've got a lot of refrigeration space, unfortunately we're not using it, we don't have customers. Are you looking for help from local businesses to refrigerate vaccine?
So one of the things in the guidance is you can't mix the vaccines with other like food storage.
Ask them if there's any food in the freezers right now.
and he's already announced, we played the cut earlier, that he's going to come back at the end of the week and basically announce that he's still not going to let the restaurants open for any real business. I mean, this 25% thing in January. Is Marty continuing to let the restaurants open at outside? Continue the outdoor dining?
I'll tell you, though, Howie, just from driving around, I don't think too many restaurants are adhering to that 25% capacity. I see very full parking lots, and it's not all takeout.
That's good. There's actually a funny story if you go to tonight on turtleboysports.com. I mean, this isn't the first time he's done this, but there's an Everett second grade teacher who's been haranguing and hectoring and lecturing everybody on her social media about the need to lock down and stay safe, et cetera, et cetera. Do you know where her latest postings were on social media, where they were from, Taylor?
Where?
The Virgin Islands. St. John, a really, really nice place. Used to be owned by the Rockefeller family. I happen to have been there a long, long time ago. It's a beautiful place. And do you know what she's not wearing when she's on St. John?
A bikini top?
No, you don't need to think about that. She's not wearing a mask. She wants everybody to stay home. She wants those schools to stay closed, but she's out partying in the Caribbean, in the sky blue waters of St. John. Trucker Jason, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Trucker Jason.
Good evening and Happy New Year, and I'm glad you had a good vacation. The whole COVID thing has got me thinking it's like a bad relationship. We're all trying to break up with COVID, and it just keeps stalking us. But
Trucker Jason. I let me make a correction. COVID is not stalking us. The Charlie Parkers of the world are stalking us.
Exactly. And as far as the whole, I took a little break from it myself while you were taking a break from all of this craziness that we're living in. But I was listening about this whole Trump conversation, and I personally think that sometimes I know why Trump did it and made the phone call, but sometimes I think he likes to stir the pot just to keep things moving. And I really believe, he's got the best intentions in all the world, but I just love how the media feed off it. He just likes feeding the media. So it's just an interesting concept that I've come to realize with Trump, and I've always enjoyed him since The Apprentice, and he knows what he's doing, and he didn't get to where he's being or headed.
He was utterly reasonable in that call, don't you think, Trucker Jason? I mean, he had the stats right in front of him he presented them to Raffensperger, and Raffensperger. I guess my favorite part of it though was when Trump said, "You haven't done anything about this," and he said, "What do you mean? We spent an hour and a half before the state Senate. Then there was the committee in the House. We spent an hour and a half, and then we had a press conference. It added up to 6.5 hours. This is a contested presidential election, and the guy in 2 months has spent 6.5 hours by his own account. 6.5 hours.
To ignore it, isn't it? It's than it is to deal with it, and I'm just glad that we have a president in office that is willing to take matters in his own hands and get to the bottom of it. So let's hope for January 6th, and let's pray for a miracle, because every day I think we all keep waking up for that miracle.
I hope so. I hope so, Trucker Jason. Thanks for the call. 844-500-40 4242. This is oh God. I just let's see here. Now, I've mentioned this before, that some of these people are sounding like, the proverbial kid who kills both of his parents and then throws himself on the mercy of the court because he's an orphan. So this is Charlie Baker. He's doing the same thing now. He is, after 76 people are dead on his watch, when he appointed a hack superintendent at the Holyoke Soldiers Home after the guy gave him $950 and gave Karen Polito $1,000. Well, it was right around the same time. He says that now he's helping the people that aren't dead in Holyoke and in Chelsea at the Soldiers Home there. He's helping them out. Cut 2.
Last week, all residents and staff at the Soldiers' Homes in Chelsea and Holyoke who wanted to receive the vaccine were administered first doses, and were encouraged that the vast majority of eligible residents in both our hospitals and long-term care facilities, as well as staff, appear to be eager and willing to get the first dose of the vaccine.
How about Bennett Walsh, your superintendent who gave you the $950, who's now under a criminal indictment for negligent homicide? Did you give him the vaccine, Charlie? Have you posed for any pictures? You can find those pictures on social media of him posing with the superintendent that he now uses as the patsy, as the fall guy for the 76 dead at the Holyoke Nursing Home. Bill, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Bill.
Happy New Year, Howie.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, as I said, these teachers, I keep seeing them on Turtle Boy, and I see them on all these things, and they don't love kids. They love the pension, they love summers off, and they have virtually no competition when they're a teacher. They have one job their whole lives, right?
Yeah, my daughter's a teacher, and I love her, and she works hard, but there's some truth to what you're saying, and And, you know, but again, it's the hypocrisy more than that, isn't it, Bill? I mean, to be lecturing people, you know, to stay home and that this is a danger and it kills people, et cetera, and then to run off and then flout it like this woman did. You know, not even like holding up a mask. I mean, sometimes I'm down here in Florida and I hold up a mask and I put a lighter to it, but I'm not lecturing other people to wear the mask. You know, that's the difference between people like us and these busybodies, these pests who are telling us how to behave. It's just so irritating. 844-500-4242. We'll take some more calls when we return. I'm Howie Carr.
If you change the station, the Moonbats win. You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
My friends at Eden Pure have done it again. Starting today, you can get the Thunderstorm air purifier at the lowest price offered to my listeners. With code word Howie, the Thunderstorm is available for under $90 and shipping is free. This New Year's sale is for 1 week only and while supplies last. The Thunderstorm is a small device you can hold in your hand and plug into the wall to purify the air from any odor. This could be pet odor, kitchen smells, tobacco, or that damp smell lingering in your basement. No filters are needed, and comparable units can start at $600. I've seen them in my doctor's offices and asked myself why they don't order the Thunderstorm. The Thunderstorm doesn't take up floor space and it's quiet. Take advantage of this 1 week only sale and experience for yourself what all my listeners are raving about. Go to EdenPure.com and put in code word Howie. That's EdenPure.com, code word Howie. Shipping is free.
Howie says it all the time. When it comes to bad politicians, Massachusetts takes the cake.
It is my honor to introduce to you your senator, my senator, Senator Elizabeth Warren.
I know who I am because of what my mother and my father told me.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Governor Deval Patrick. And frankly, I got to tell you, with all the other things I'm worrying about, this is not one of them. We're going to be fine. I'm in charge. Please join me in welcoming our own Senator Ed Markey.
The planet is running a fever. There are no emergency rooms for planets.
The very first African-American congresswoman to be elected from Massachusetts, Ayanna Pressley.
We don't need any more brown faces that don't want to be a brown voice. We don't need black faces that don't want to be a black voice. We don't need Muslims that don't want to be a Muslim voice. We don't need queers that don't want to be a queer voice.
Let's give him a great Waterloo reception. John Kerry.
The Yankees posted the Boston Red Sox logo and they sang Sweet Adeline.
Here's how it works with my retirement accounts, and I'll bet yours too. If your 401k, your SEP, your IRA, whatever is going up, you probably don't think very much about it, right? But if it's going down, well, there's nothing much else you can think of. So for the last couple of years, none of us have been worrying much about those quarterly statements. But lately, it's gotten a little worrisome. It's not that bad, not yet anyway, but what goes up must come down. Now is the time to start thinking about adjusting your investments. Gold and silver have always been a hedge against stock market volatility. Uncertainty about the future has traditionally met rising prices for precious metals. Orion Metal Exchange is the only precious metals company I trust. Give Orion a call to get a free, no-obligation investment guide about protecting your future with an enduring investment in gold and silver. You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain, including peace of mind, by calling Orion Metal Exchange now. Call them today at 800-912-2300. And with Orion, you'll get more metal for your money. Call 800-912-2300. That's 800-912-2300.
And now, 1 minute of Nancy Pelosi.
It is a bill that is much needed for our farmers and ranchers. I think there are only 47 votes against it in the House of Representatives. The American people should know the source of it. Again, we are engaged in the year-end continuing resolution, Homeland Security. I'm not sure. No, I haven't spoken to him since he called the other day, which was a very amicable conversation. Amiable, I guess you would say, not amicable. And I talked to Chuck last night to say, we haven't had an answer. There are other things that are going on that are newsworthy, and I think you'd have more viewers or readers if people address concerns that people have The list goes on about the
You just shot an unarmed man. Well, he should have armed himself.
The Howie Carr Show.
You know, these COVID welfare programs that they've been running, and now they're running them again. One of my kids just got a $1,200 check. She's making good money, but she got it. And now there's stories. The Department of Labor has said that $36 billion has been lost to fraud in pandemic unemployment benefits. The entire unemployment system only paid out about $26 billion in 2019. And now they've lost 36 billion. 36 billion has been stolen. Good Lord. A new bombshell interview with USA Today by a Nigerian scammer. He's obviously not the only one. Makes it painfully clear just how carelessly Congress is throwing around our money. A Nigerian student named Moyowa spoke to USA Today and openly admitted to scamming $50,000 from the U.S. pandemic welfare system so far. So if he's getting like $600 or $1,200, how many he had to have pulled off 50 or 60 scams. All he had to do was make a list of real people and then search through available databases of hacked information for their social security numbers and birth dates. And this is what USA Today said. In most states, that information is all it takes to file for unemployment. Even when state applications require additional verification, a little more money spent on sites such as Family Tree Now and Truth Finder provides answers: your mother's maiden name, where you were born, your high school mascot. It doesn't always work, of course, but the Nigerian told USA Today his success rate is pretty high, about one success for every 6 claim attempts. Once we have that information, it's over. It's easy money. Everything free in America. I happen to know one person, or I used to know someone who was who got caught. He was down in Rhode Island and he was filing for restaurants that didn't exist. He was always a bit of a dodgy person, shall we say. I knew him in the radio industry, full of dodgy persons, obviously. But I mean, how embarrassing is it that you get caught as an American citizen when Nigerians and probably people from all over the world are pulling this stuff off with impunity and just living off this big money? Government bureaucrats were caught flat-footed, and the flood of money being rushed out the door in the name of emergency meant more vulnerabilities than ever. Just to use one state as an example, Washington State, that's Jay Inslee. He's not concerned about welfare fraud, but he is very, very concerned about climate change. Climate change. Washington State usually identifies only a few dozen fraudsters in a year. Now it has identified more than 122,000 since March. 122,000. Good Lord. 603 says, Charlie Parker is concerned about the rising age of hospitalizations after he okays placing positive patients in nursing homes. That's a pretty good point. Yeah, he did do that. And incidentally, has any newspaper other than the Boston Herald and our sister newspaper, the Lowell Sun, reported that Charlie Parker has been putting COVID-19 positive patients back into nursing homes, kind of like Andrew Cuomo? Yeah, we wouldn't want to do that. They had a good story in the Globe over the weekend about the fact that it's still costing the state millions of dollars, and they're still throwing out hundreds of drug cases because of Sonia Farak and Annie Dukan, the corrupt jailbird chemists at the state drug labs in Amherst and Jamaica Plain. But there was one thing lacking in the story. It was a good story, too. It was the name of the department where Dukan and Farrak worked. You know what the name of the department is? The Department of Public Health. They're the ones who are now managing the COVID response. They're the ones who have managed the nursing homes, which now have the highest death rate in the United States of America after they've thrown out 65,000 drug tests. And 2 of the chemists have gone to prison and a 3rd is under investigation. I wonder why the Globe neglected to mention who Farrak and Dukan worked for. It would undercut panic porn. I'm Howie Carr.
The election is behind us, and what happens next is anyone.